Yeah, I think that you're looking to just lodge the trust deed through your state revenue. That's how you do what you're trying to do. You cancel the membership with the state, leave the state, take your shares, a member's a shareholder, you take your shares out of the state treasury and put them in your bank, treasury, the big four.
Sorry for the way I introduced you. Go ahead. That sounds good.
It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. You set up the foundation, your cornerstone, your family foundation, sovereign entity, and you claim the title, because you don't have the surname or the Mr. or anything like that. You need to claim all those, and the only way to do that's your declaration through state revenue duties online. That's because you've got your settlement certificate, and that's the settlement deed, and the process that you're looking for is called settlement. You can go to an estate lawyer, set up a family trust, set up the trust, the corporate entity trust deed, and manage the funds and move your funds. Leave the state. See you later. Beautiful. We've done that already. We've got people doing that now.
Very good. Yeah. Very good.
Very easy. Very easy. Very straightforward. You're going to love it, and they're going to welcome you with open arms because it's not they're not trying to keep us from it. They want us to do this.
Yeah.
How quickly does it take?
Yeah.
How long does the process take, and does someone profit from the process? Not that that's relevant, of course.
Well, you do. You move it to your own trust. So, you need the estate lawyer to do your will, right? You sit down with them. It costs a little bit of money. It varies.
Joseph.
Yep. Well, no,
yes, okay, bro.
Yeah, no, it's no big deal. You've got shares registered with the state. It started with your birth registration. That's to the state. So this is just simply leave, because you can leave a membership at any time, take your shares anytime, and you're all wealthy. You manage your own affairs. You go back to the Commonwealth. So you've got the land and you're operating in the sea properly. All that stuff is all working properly for you. And you're back to the Commonwealth and you're actually doing your fiduciary duties, and you're actually performing as we, the government, we, the people. And they love you for it. They welcome you with open arms. You set up the trust deed, because you're creating new laws. So you're doing the contract to create the laws. And as a matter of fact, the contract that you do for the family foundation, you just do with, yourself or a family member and witness, and that's it. You put it away, you copy it so the bank can cite it for the name. That's it. That's your most powerful document. That's your common law sovereign entity.
That's a private contract. Pure.
Private contract, and you just created new laws. So then you're setting up that's your trust, but you need the trustee. So the trustee will hold the trust, manage the funds. The trust deed is the contract that will guide how the money is spent. And your constitution will be the law on the PTY company, how it's run, because you'll be the founder shareholder of that anyway. So you own the whole lot, but you need both. You need all of it for all of it to work. So you can just do an individual trustee and your family foundation contract. Go to the estate lawyer, get him to do the trust deed, right? You've got to lodge a trust deed. That's your declaration to the system. They'll do all the other stuff through settlement. It takes, that's the answer to that question too. Apologise for the roundabout way, but it takes 30 to 90 days for settlement. So I've spoken to people. I've spoken
How many
to people.
Do you know who have gotten that far and actually have access to it? And what would that look like?
There's about 5 of us so far, but it's shares, right? Because you'll have the dashboard on the ASIC website. So I don't know if you're aware or not, when you leave your wealth to your heir, because this is what we're going back to, you leave the beneficiary that's a shareholder. You're just moving shares around, on that dashboard, because that's what money really is. You're taking control of all that. We've got a team of lawyers now, the Eleanor Foundation board of directors, because we don't have an individual trustee. We've got a board of directors that can act as an individual, because we've got 3 foundations, one each for our family, and then one we give a bunch of money to for the community, for Bendigo. So there's a small fortune there in Bendigo. We're building a cannabis farm for them.
Good on you, bro. Good to catch up with you again.
Yeah, good on you. Well, you're going to love it. You know, I spoke to a guy, a couple actually, might as well say the same story. I said, look, you don't need to learn anything. You don't need to, I've told you the language of settlement. You want to do your last will, you want to do it through trust deed, set up your family thing, and, you know, get off the phone and they call a lawyer and they go, oh, it's all done. I did it. They're doing the settlement, they're doing the trust deed, going to lodge that, it's all done. Like we said we need guys with money. So one guy, you know, Andy, he's a legend. He's got a caravan, you know, making company or whatever. He's got money. He's got the phone. He goes, calls them up. It was about $8,000, I think. It's the highest quote we've got, between 6 and 8. He just threw the money at him. It's all done. He called me and, yeah, beauty, it's all done, real easy. I said, yeah, well, they're not trying to keep it from you. You just got to go in there with that attitude, that language, and that's the process. And you know what's beautiful about it? You're leaving the state and you're taking your wealth with you, becoming your own government.
If you don't mind
Automatic.
me asking, how much is the wealth and what are the terms for being able to use it?
Well, the terms are in the trust deed that you write. So normally it's for charity, you know. So you're going back to the house of God with the foundation is your, you know, back on the land, and that's the foundation goes in the land, and then the house, and that's taking your family back into the house of God, actually entering back into the Bible, and you're claiming in the family foundation, that's your law. And it's so good that you don't have written laws in there, because whatever you say is law. So you've taken your family, I took my whole family back to there, right? It's actually still the same system. Then you know what happens, you become like the chieftain. You get the respect back. Family comes back together. You got the land. That's crown land. You've got the crown. You've got the sovereign entity. You've got all those things all there. You've got the wealth, but you've also got the portfolio, because you're not operating in the sea. You can't operate in merchant IMF money without a portfolio. So you're at the sea, you know, sinking ship, not making any money. So no land in sight. So this is it. You get your land, you for cornerstone, foundation, house, family, community comes next, and it's all working real well. You know, it's no big deal. They want us to do that. So we're doing that. We're taking people out now I said we got 3, so our family is done. We've got the community. We got one there for them. All they have to do is sign a membership form once we fire up, and our lawyers will do all that for them. And we're a bank, so we can manage, you know, as a trustee, many accounts, and that can trade in your family foundation name, although that's never registered anywhere. So
what if someone didn't have the money to pay your lawyers? Given that it's guaranteed we'd have access to the trust, would you guys take a IOU or something that could then be paid back from the trust?
Yeah, we're working on that, but we're in settlement. So, you know, 30 to 90 days. But it's all cool with the lawyer and with the bank and everyone we talk to. Okay. You know, we're with the Bendigo Bank talking to the private banking sector. We're talking, you know, we've got the lawyers, we've got the state revenue. It's no secret. So you can go off the phone tomorrow, you can call any of them, have a look on their website where you lodge deeds at your state revenue through duties online, because we're doing it in New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania. It's much the same process, a little bit different, you know. New South Wales wants it notarised and it's $500 to lodge it, whereas Victoria's doesn't need to be notarised and it's $200 to lodge it. But you do have to have a lawyer to do that. So people are doing it. It's working really well. The whole thing is beautiful. You know, it's going to solve a lot of problems and balance the power. You know, it's going to be not just the Victoria government, because the Eleanor Foundation is actually a government, exactly the same structure. We just don't have all the members. So now it's going to be like a micro. We don't want all the power in one hand. It's going into our hands, because we're going to have to care. Like, families are taking care of it. We've got community. So there's going to be no
internationally recognized then with a title.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you want. So
yeah.
You know, you say
what country would you be known as? Like, because technically it's not your own country yet.
Well, you go in the Commonwealth, there's no state, you know. You leave the state, you go back to the Commonwealth, you go back to the family, you go back to God, basically, because this is from God, so you go back to God. And God hasn't forsaken us, sort of, you know, it's still there now. This is going to change everything.
I
It's
wasn't
just
aware
weird.
that Commonwealth was something that was recognised outside of the Commonwealth of Australia that is, in fact, you know, a corporation. So that interests me that you say Commonwealth, because the only people I've heard before talking about Commonwealth have been individuals who say that they're part of a so-called organic Commonwealth, but they seem to just want to take thousands of dollars to give people information about trusts, which isn't really, you know,
No, you don't
that
need that.
effective, or hasn't
No, you
been
don't.
proven as effective. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need any of that, you know, though. So no one's going to mess around with your promise of God, your inheritance. This is your being inheritance,
Okay,
and
so
you don't.
This is what's offered
sorry,
to you from the breath of the first woman to all of us now. It's a blood right. It's something that it's
Yeah,
a pure contract that has
that's right.
existed.
sure, yeah. It's
Yeah, the
the
blood
wealth of the earth that we all have a share to. Yeah, I get that. But what I'm
Yeah.
trying to ask is so I can visualize, and I'm sure others would like to as well.
Yeah.
If we were to get out of Australia, let's say, and we wanted to go and travel, right? How would that work, first of all? And second of all, when we arrived at our destination, let's say it was a country that had like a more civil European style of law, how would we then be recognized over there if they used a different language?
Well, you'd be like on a federal passport, something like that. You know, you got the diplomatic immunity. That's what the police conduct command told me. So, but you know, we're in this is hot off the press. We're in settlement. We've got other people in settlement. Look, we're leaving the membership of the state. The wealth's not the money, but you've got shares there, right? So you need to be able to discharge debts. This is how you properly set up. So you know,
Would you say you're stepping from state nationhood into federal nationhood?
yeah, you'll go back in and out of Victoria if you do business, but you don't have to do business. You know, the wealth is the family. Your family's back safe in the house, and you've got the land. That's why families fall apart, right? The relationships fall apart because you don't have that. And you don't have the head of the family, the chieftain, and the bloodline, and then the heir, right? Who knows in their heart something's wrong because they're the heir to the throne of fuck all at the moment, and it's not real hopeful for them. So they actually get all that back. You know, like we're joining my business partner, his son doesn't, you know, they're all lost, really. That's what it is. So now that's pulling them back together because he's just going to get money into his camp from the Matsakos Foundation and go, what the hell's going on? You're going to love God whether you like it or not at the moment. And that's hot off the press. Simple as that.
So you're saying
back.
it would be issued by the Australian government as a federal passport? Is that what you're saying?
No, well, you're the government. We'd have to figure that out. You know, you're the government. You're the Centrelink. You got to cover the private schools and health for all of your whole family now. You've got a lot of responsibility.
So you're saying you personally wouldn't be comfortable traveling, let's say if you had to leave in a week, okay, I'm just hypothetical, let's create an extreme Red Guard descent of Australia in 6 days, and you're like, okay, the boats are close, I can go, there's flights outgoing, you know, I've just invented this scenario, but what would you do? How would you get out?
Well,
If you're stateless, I'm sure you'd have a lot of options. I mean, already on the border website, they talk a lot about both nationals and people who have proof of identity, or you know, they're not passports, but they're kind of like identity documents that they can issue to those who are not citizens. So I'm curious, would that be an option for you, right?
Yeah, well, I get what you mean because there's two systems. So that's the confusion that people have, and then they don't believe that they have any assets for a start. When you create a new entity, it's common knowledge. You roll all the assets over, right? So we've got access to the register and access to persons. We can take anyone out, you know, when it's not set to do that. But as far as I know, you're the government. I mean, there's going to have to be something that you show, you know, so you can just breeze through with your diplomatic immunity for sure. But what that is, we don't know. We're in settlement. We're wondering, you know, what are we going to be presented with at the end of that? There's going to be
once your settlement goes through, there'll be a status correction or something similar to what, you know. I mean, I'm no longer involved in it, but the D5 concept that the passport that you'll get issued at the end of that will involve the downward status correction of your standing and capacity, and therefore create your diplomatic immunity. So there must be something,
Well,
obviously.
that's right. Thanks.
So
I
couldn't you
forgot
just
what
create your own country then in your own
No,
passport?
well, no, hang on. Sorry, because I didn't complete that. What I was saying with the dualities, you got both, right? Because you're talking about mostly it's business that you're talking about involved in, right? So you got to go back to the life and the land, then you need both those things, and you need to be able to go in and out. You've got a trustee because the contract that you sign with your family with God is cancelled now, all the other contracts that you've ever had, and you never contract again. Like you got a trustee. So if you go into like a dealership you want them 3 cars, right? The contract of sale, you just whack your stamp on that common seal stamp that you keep in your safe under lock and key and send that to the trustee, right? Trustee discharges the debts. It's able to manage your wealth. So, but it's guided by the laws that you just created. But you don't never contract again. You never worry about that again. You never see rego or bills or any of that ever again. You just run around. If you get a house, same thing. Get as many as you want. It's an asset. Do you think they care? They think that's great. When I left the bank, they said, "Well done, congratulations. Go have some rest." Like they know who I am before I'm even there, man. I've caused so many problems around here. I've pulled the police up here. I've pulled them all up here, and they know who I am, man. They pulled up to me next to me today. The police. I just cracked a bourbon can. I was going to see my niece to have dinner with them because I've been telling them, they're out of the state now. They're gonna no worries about this COVID shit. And anyway, the cops pulled up beside me, still unregistered, unlicensed. I've got USA Route 66 number plates on it for $2 from Dimmies. Just had a sip of the can. They pulled up, the music on, sunny day. I'm thinking, fuck, it's a good day. Some guy just called me and said, "Oh, thanks, man. He just did it, and it was real easy." And I was right. And I said, "Yeah, he didn't have to be scared to go and talk to the people." And they go, "Oh, how's it going?" And I turn the music down and go, "Hey." And they go, "It's a beautiful day for it, isn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, it really is. It's a really good day." And they said, "Good on you. Just don't have too many there, mate." I said, "Nah. Nah, I'm going, mate. I'm heading out of the heat. Go and have dinner. Good on you, thanks." Real good whole completely different relationship with the police now. Everything changes. They want us to do this. Well, I turned around and said, I don't know if anyone knows about all the last few years of the fights of the police I've had, but in the end, I said, thanks for the discipline, We need to take some of the pressure off the state government and the police. And they're like, fucking, that'll be the last thing you expect to hear, I'm in the Supreme Court with them, so I think that's good.
Have you met our friend Neville?
No, I don't think so.
I would love to hear these two discussing this further in a Zoom chat. Would you agree with me there, Rick?
Yeah, that'd be good for another time. Yeah, for sure.
We've got the Crown group Zoom. So next Sunday we're doing a bullet. I'm doing the bullets for a PowerPoint. Because it's real easy. But something just say this is what you do, and it's visual. You can take it away with you, and away you go. Because you don't need anyone. You don't need any of that stuff that you're trying to do. All you need to do is you need the Articles of Association, to the contract, the common law one that cancels all contracts and you never contract again. You get all those things that you want, So you need that. You need the trustee. But I tell you, a lot of these, if you're just going to do an individual trustee, because they don't do business, right? You just pay yourself 10 grand a week the rest of your life, say, for example. Pay yourself a lump sum and 10 grand, 20 grand a week, whatever, 4 or 5. That doesn't matter. It's about 500 million roughly to 220. And now I'll tell you when I couldn't really say, but I can say that they don't create these entities for us unless we're going to transfer at least $300,000 into it. So of shares. So it's more than that, So there's no worries about that. There's a lot of money. Everyone knows it's a lot of money, but now we're actually got our hands on it. It's actually very easy, but we've been so busy trying to make it all difficult and complicated that we missed it, It's just as simple as, and it's not a secret, it's on their website. Because I go, oh, well, someone's got to know, I thought, stuff this and all these groups and then all this complicated shit. I'm going to the bank. I asked the bank. bank said, oh, you want access to the persons? And I got a letter from First Deaths and Marriages ages ago, and it's got access to the register. I'm like, yeah, because the financial guy said transfer assets, right? But that's all the same thing, but that's really the language. That's the three things you would say if you're going to say anything, one of them, right?
So you walked in Bendigo and they literally just showed you how to do this once you showed them your long form, or rather the registration or whatever life birth document, no?
No, I called the private bank sector of the Bendigo Bank. There's only one branch in each state of like the NAB will have one private banking sector and they'll have one branch in Victoria. But the rest of,
because they're the only ones that let you open trusts up in the private, is that right?
No, man, it's not a big deal. The estate lawyer will do all that stuff. We did it sort of the hard ass about way of no freaking money, and we did the hard way. So
yeah,
we're still doing it. We're still doing it the hard way. But if you've got money and you really can't do it without the estate lawyer, because we tried that, and there's other documents that they put in with the trust deed when they lodge it, and they're the ones that bind it up the ribbon and they put it in their vault, and that's your money, right? Because the contracts also that you do now, and you create the laws, like in your powers, you've got the powers now within your laws to create wealth. And that's this is the top of the food chain, this charity. Like private foundations don't actually do work on the ground as a charity. All they do is create wealth to fund other charities. So we got two. One to create wealth to fund the one that we've got for the cannabis farm and suicide health retreat. Because we're actually doing suicide assistance, not retreat, because we don't like anymore all this theory, Bible theory. This is Bible practical, and this is suicide practical. We're not going to sit around and talk about, I bet you fucking cop some shit, right? But we're going to practical. We're going to do it. We're going to kill your person, give you a whole new person, name, ID, family if you want, country, whatever. You're wealthy, right? So you come in. We've got a team of lawyers. We'll do that for you. Away you go. Hang out here for a couple of weeks. Eat some weed, swim in the pool.
That sounds amazing, mate. Do you have like a contact number?
When do I get the invite there, Josh?
Yeah. Got in the Facebook website there, but I've got my business card up on there.
Yeah, I'm off of Facebook, bro. I keep getting banned left, right, and center. I can't fucking do fuck all, so I'm over it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Too busy these days.
I sent you my private number in a private message, mate, so we can keep in touch, because I don't know if I got your details before.
Yeah, good. Do that, because this is what we
Sorry
want.
to everybody else. It's surprising to meet him here. And I may know this Nev guy you're talking about. I'm not sure. I interacted with a Nev guy as well. Very knowledgeable.
Yeah. I apologise too to everyone as well, because it's a bit off topic to what you were talking about, but you really don't need to go down all those paths. You need to do the settlement. That's the process, settlement.
You're one of the most smartest alternative people in this journey that I've come across. Haven't had the chance to really sit down and fucking nut with about it all.
Yeah, thanks kindly, man. Same to you, and we will. This is the community now, we got the community. We've done the family, so the community is just coming. It's God. It's out of my control. I'm a good servant, though. I've been pretty good, reasonably good. Not the best son, but got us here. So all of us got us all here.
We're all wayward.
Yeah, we're there now, though. So just like I said, you can just talk to an estate lawyer tomorrow, get a quote, say, look, I want to do me will and whatnot, estate planning, and do the settlement, and what's it going to cost? And you're away, man. Simple as that. They'll be they're all over that. They love it. Oh, good on you. The bank said congratulations, go have some rest. Oh no, they said go have some fun, and the lawyer said congratulations, go have some rest, and it's like well done, because it's not what you think.
If we found an estate lawyer tomorrow, like I know one through the family, we just basically hook them up with your lawyers during a business day, and we could discuss this further, like tomorrow.
Well, if you've got an estate lawyer, just tell them you want to do your estate planning through the trust deed and do the settlement process. You don't need to do any of that with us and our lawyers. Look, we're not set up. We have to launch. We're waiting for our funds to turn up so we can launch. First thing we're going to do is have the launch party in Bendigo. We're going to put that public notice in the papers. Eleanor Foundation's here launch party.
How
Then
long
we're
does
gonna
it
worry
take
about
for the funds to come in, mate?
Well, 30 to 90 days. So, because it's quite a process. The settlement is all the audit, all the documents you're trying to do. Some people are trying to do these things that, yeah, it might be right, but you don't do it. They do that in the settlement. You're the king, right? We're going to be walking around going, Majesty, we're already doing that. It's hilarious. Oh, Your Grace, Majesty. Yeah, we're even now. Even Stevens.
You don't think that this game is going to go into a whole nother level once your funds arrive?
Oh yeah, for sure. Ours is, because we've got, John and I have got a family foundation each. So ourselves and our family is set. Our fortunes are there, right? So we're going to put some of our fortunes into the Eleanor Foundation because that's for Bendigo. That's the one that's doing all the cannabis farm. The board of directors is going to be the bank and the lawyers. We're going to have very little to do with that, but they're going to sell shares, instantly make, say, $40 billion. And we're the owner, founder, shareholder. So we'll, get paid continuously for that, but that'll just go back into our family trust, and if that ever winds up, that goes back to our family. So it's all secure, but it won't ever happen because we're going to do this in 3 states, and these farmers make an absolute fortune, right? And that's going to cover a lot of the charity stuff we want to do with the health stuff, and we got HIV cures and stuff like that here, man. We're not fucking around. This is no joke. This is a very straightforward, simple process that you can do to protect your family and put your family. You're making a declaration, right, to the machine and to the world. It's old school stuff, but you're doing it through the trust deed at state revenue that you're now back with God. You're under those laws. They're your laws, like legitimately in the system. If Victorian courts and police won't have any jurisdiction over you or your children, you're not in there no more. You're not in the system in Victoria Treasury no more, in Victoria estate, right? Because state, estate, and status is the exact same word. And I love it when this rings true to people. Everyone I've talked to is like, oh, this all rings true because I'd like to know the Bible and that. Like the captain's like, yeah. Fucking ring, yeah, bang, bang, clicky, click. And the job is done. Praise God, glory to God. It's done. It's simple. Go do it tomorrow. Talk to them.
So basically, like it's just like 3 steps from what you've told me.
All you need is your family foundation, the trust, and then the trustee, and then the trust deed, which activates trust. And you know what? I've got 3 people I've talked to that have done all this right and they've got it all done, and they go, oh no, I did that and I've only got dollar shares. I said, well, what's the go? Where's all your deed and that? It's in the filing cabinet drawer. Oh, bullshit. So you've got all that. You've opened the trust with the token amount, your dollar shares, and you haven't lodged the trust deed to state revenue. I said, go do that now, right? And give us a call in a couple of weeks when you realise what just happened. Because that's going to transfer your real shares and your real wealth over to you.
Would you be able to share the templates that you use that actually worked? Because I think there's some people here who would literally be ready to go as soon as tomorrow and just get started in this process. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got articles of association, but they're Jason's from the Crown Group. So you know, they're $3,000 each. And this is the problem we're having. Trust deeds are $2,500, lodgement fees and the fees, and it adds up. And you really can't do it, on the cheap. You don't want to get the vanilla trust deed document, the cheap version. You get what you pay for. And this is the most important document that you're ever going to do. Well, the contract, the common law one for the family foundation, but then the trust deed, that's your will. So that's going to decide how the money is going to be distributed.
I didn't realize his foundation was a family trust. Yeah,
well, well, there's 2 things, right? You get a PTY, and that PTY is just a PTY, but the constitution is a different thing that you add to the PTY because that's the laws of the company, right? And so you can have the individual trustee constitution or the corporate trust constitution. So most people get the family trust go for the individual trustee because you're not going to do any business. All the trustee is going to do is go, you've said in the trust deed that you want it 10 grand a week paid in your bank. And maybe, you know, some of your family, whatever. So that's that, right? It's easy. Our structure's completely different and complicated, and, you know, it's charity. It's huge. What we're doing is crazy. I don't even know how we're doing that, but we haven't got a shovel in the ground yet, though. But we're there. We've got agreements with the bank and the lawyers. It's all. I had that deal done with the bank before I was even a customer of the bank. They loved me so much, man. The private bank dude is like, oh yeah, come on down. He goes, let's go. Because I told him, I said, we're bringing the second gold rush back to Bendigo, mate. Bringing it here to Bendigo Bank.
You've been the happiest I've seen for some time. I've known this guy for several years, to the other listeners. And from the first instance of coming across what he proposed to me, I said, you've got something unique and different. And it's just been unfortunate that we haven't yet to have a face-to-face and a sit-down. And sometimes we've both been in different states of mind.
Yeah, man, I've been on a mission from God.
Yeah,
I've been
chance to interact. So
I haven't been learning in the groups. I've been isolated with God to learn this stuff.
all good, bro. I'm glad it's coming to fruition for you and others. And yeah, like the other gentleman pointed out, obviously, given that the relevations, that it's pretty simple and easy to interact. I mean, I can comprehend it, but I've never been structured in business and things like that myself. You know, I've dealt with it all, but more from an outside aspect.
Yeah.
So some of it still is just words.
That's all right. It's okay because, like I said, everybody's right and they're quite good with it, the lawyers. It's for laymen. They don't expect. I mean, some people sit in there and cry, man, with the lawyers. The lawyers have got a lot of humanity, I'm telling you. I made a couple of stupid mistakes and, you know, they're just really professional and really good. Everybody's been really, really good and welcoming, and you got to try it, man, honestly. Yeah, my number's there.
So,
you know,
So I appreciate all that input. Your name Dave, is it?
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. Really do, from the heart. You know, really do mean that. So thanks for that clarity on what we're all trying to achieve with our intent. So really appreciate
thanks,
that.
man. Look, love your work, bro. Love it.
Yeah, thank you. So I got a question now. If I had to say reconveying, what would you say about that? Reconveying to the soil. Would you say that's just not even needed? We just go and straight and do this step straight away because it's the only way that's going to be the less painful. Yeah. Would you say something like that?
Yeah, well, really, right. It's the title. The people say that they don't want the name, the surname, and the Mr. and whatever, but you got to get rid of it. But in actual fact, you don't have it. That's exactly what you want, because you go and get me the documents that show me that you're Mr. And this is how I won in court, right? You don't have any of that. You got a birth certificate. You can't walk around and call yourself Lord or Doctor or Sir. So why do you think you can walk around and call yourself Mr.? So then you become the fraud, right? Unfortunately, that's the case. And then you realise, you find yourself now in a pretty awkward situation, but you stop using the Mr. straight away. It's quite powerful in itself because they can only deal with the lawful entity. And in the court, I said, you know, the Eleanor Foundation, they said, that's not a legal entity. I said, no, it's a lawful entity. So they went after the Mr. Forrester, right? And I said, well, no, but no Mr. here because I don't have any documentation. And in matter of fact, we've got a document here that says those documents are still bound in the state archives, right? So then that title, that's land title, that's Crown land. So there you go, that's how you get that. And that's exactly what you want. So the foundation goes on the land. That's really your cornerstone.
Yep.
So you found that now. There's your cornerstone.
Yep.
You know, you've got it. You don't need to do any of the complicated stuff, although probably right, it's a new word to me, that word, but this is for everybody in layman. You don't have to know any of that stuff. Like, no one's going to rip you off. No one can interfere with this. They've already changed the system that many times, and this is really the same. You're making a declaration to the world like you'd go down the mall, but you're really just lodging that at state revenue, so to the machine, right? So that, otherwise, if you run around saying like, I've tried all that, you're sovereign, and the machine's relentless, it doesn't stop. This is how you stop that. They're already treating me with respect. Cops pulled up to me today, unregistered, unlicensed, having a sip on a bourbon. They've taken 4 cars off me. We've been through hell. Now it's a whole new respect, because they actually were trying to tell me a couple of times when I look back on it, and I wasn't enlightened enough to get it, but they were dropping hints, and I was like, you cheeky buggers. So thanks for the discipline. I think that actually made me a better man.
Yep.
But still, you broke the law and took my car and lied, so you're going to have to give that back. And some, it cost us 2 years or whatnot. So that's that, because there's corruption in every area, and they don't like it either. The cops shook my hand, and I said in the emails that, because they'd said that I'd threatened to burn down the courthouse in an email because they couldn't beat me in court, so they tried to beat me out of court. But anyway, there's no such email. But in the emails, I said that parasites have infested my town and the courthouse and the police station and everything. So he questioned me on that, and I said, yeah, I did put that in there. I remember that, and he shook my hand, because they don't like these corrupt turds in there getting away with this either. So it's cool,
If you're out of their system, why'd you even go to court? Isn't the court just created to,
Oh, this was about a year ago. I didn't go to court in the end, because they were issuing. They reckon that a formal notice. Now they put a letter in your letterbox, a letterhead on it, and that's been formally noticed to served. I said, they said that's how we formally serve papers, and I said, well, that's not how I formally be served papers. And who the hell, once again, is Mr. Forrester? Like the video of me in the mall with the cops putting on a big show for him. And I walked away going, who the hell's, David Forrester, you dickheads? I am not Mr. Forrester, though. Because that's what you want, right? You claim that title, along with that comes the money. I don't know if you guys know this, but in Victoria, the Treasury portfolio analysis team is magistrates, courts, VCAT, tribunals, DHHS, housing and land. And police are private security for the Treasury. This is just the money, though. That's just the money part of it. The actual country, the man and woman life part's still there. That's where we went. We went back there. But we can still do business, though, in that other area if we want. You don't have to.
Well, who would you do business as? Just through the trust?
Yeah, but the trust can do business in the foundation name, like the Eleanor Foundation name, but the Eleanor Foundation name's not registered anywhere.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Our trustee's name is Eleanor Purple Proprietary Limited. But that's
it's unincorporated, right, as a private foundation.
They're pure and private.
Yeah, well, the foundation's got no liability, right? Courts and cops and that have no jurisdiction or anything like that. The trustee, which only manages your funds, if you buy a car, there's going to be some accounting to do. They just go in the office every now and take care of it because you're the king. It's that is limited liability by shares. So
you're basically saying to get the trust created first and to get the interest put into the trust before we create the private foundation.
Oh, it's all one in the same. I mean, you need the private foundation's easiest one. That's just a contract you do with, men and women, not a JP or nothing like that. Yeah. You don't have to JP copy that. You don't have to give that to anyone. You do have to make one copy of it, then lock it in your safe, the original copy. You don't have to do anything with that. That's that, right? That's your contract with God. You're back under those laws. That's what it says. You read the Articles of Association. Then you'll know, that's the laws that you just created. So you've got to read that. But that's what you've done. So the copy of it, the bank will want to cite it just so that it knows that that's the name. When you're opening up the account in the trustee, right? That'd be the Eleanor Purple Pty Limited has the account. And the trust actually sits in that corporate entity and gets managed by that corporate entity. That's actually the trust. Well, it's actually where the trust sits. So that's pretty cool, you know. It all works for you. You all own it anyway. They're only got limited liability, so they can't rob your wealth. But you're actually on the land. So you got your launch. You can launch your, if you wanted, your fleet, right? I figured, oh, the fleet of vehicles out onto the shipping lanes. That all makes sense now. I get it. It all works well too if you've got all this and the laws and the portfolio and the title. You can't contract with no title. You're screwed. You can't operate in merchant IMF money without a portfolio. You're screwed. So you need all that, and then life's joy.
Yeah, so what you've done is you've utilised your transmitting utility appropriately by your settlement, and now your trust operates your transmitting utility, being your legal name, artificial person, the constructive trust, whatever they want to call it, the estate. You're the unit holder. When you die, you pass those units on to whoever you want, and the trust,
That's right.
they inform. We did chat about some of this at some point, I remember.
That's right. The trust
so-
deed, though, the document that you wrote, your will lives on, though, you see. That's what happens.
That's
They have to,
they've got the units to that. Yeah.
yeah, and they have to abide by that document, you know, even after you're gone. And they do. The bank actually carry that for you for generations, but the state will not. Public Record Act 16, 17, 18, on death of the owner, the records go to the state. You know, and settlement usually gets done when people are, I don't know if people know, but most of their bills and stuff that are not discharged are sitting in escrow and nothing gets settled till you're dead, or unless you do your settlement. When you're supposed to be 21, you get the key, which is a document. You're supposed to take your shares because nobody starts a game of Monopoly without their startup money. That would be just stupid, right? This is real. This is an actual thing, and this isn't how you do it. And it's easy because it's for laymen. You know, they're quite a lot of humanity. These people, they're wondering why we think that they're trying to stop us from being free and giving us our money and that. And they're created trillions of dollars for us to. That's our job as we the people, the government. They make the money. We're supposed to do our fiduciary duties with people, but the money is for us, so we can go sort out the homeless. That's not their job. They're money men, right? It's up to us.
We're meant to do the action. They'll back us.
Yeah, we're meant to care for the less privileged because, you know, like in the old clan days, he had the castle there, but the village was inside the castle walls, and that's what he did. The clan chief there, my bloodline, he looked after everybody, the family and the community.
We're in a man, which is a dead man, and an earth man is a man of action. So by settling our state, we become earth men who can be men of action and therefore discharge our normal nature.
Yeah, you'll shit yourself when your life changes tomorrow, I tell you. If you go ahead and get into that tomorrow, your life's going to change.
Wow, that's
really
it's amazing, isn't it? So simple, and that's the way it's meant to be. The truth is simple.
Yeah, but we're looking. What was that? The alchemist, you know, he travelled around the world and he come home and he found the treasure in his backyard. Well, you had the power all along, and you click your heels 3 times, and it's always three, right? You need 3 things. You need the trustee, you need the trust, and you need the trust deed.
Yep.
And that's the settlement certificate, the birth certificate, which the bank's already got. So they're not interested in looking for that. They already know that's there. They already know there's a wealth attached to that. They're just glad that you're finally coming to get it and take care of your family and stop it's charities are non-combative, right? You don't need to be involved in any of that kind of controversy, and you really don't. Because of that, it's because of that we've missed this, and they're actually going. I mean, I'm getting so much respect from the other side because they're like, oh, good, because I told them I'm going to take the pressure off you, and they're like, didn't expect that. But I get it. They're not the enemy. They want us to have this. And they probably they can't figure out why we don't want it. So everybody's at conflict. Well, we'll just knock his on the head, then we'll be rich then. You know, it's got we've got the problem of it puts a price on your head as well. So, but it is well protected. That's your inheritance from God. The Public Record Acts are pretty firm, you know. You don't remove them, damage them, or defame them and that kind of thing, you know. It's life in prison, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Would
it's
you?
all really,
Yeah. Right. Would you say that it's not needed to do a counter deed on your birth certificate? Obviously, if that's the case,
no, I
because
mean,
that's a bond, yeah. So you want to
yeah.
give it to them, basically, yeah, into the treasury.
Well, yeah, you don't want to own anything, and you don't want to pay for anything, and you don't want to want for anything, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You'll put a property on hold in the trust. They'll do the discharge. The bank will hold the title. They'll carry it for you for generations. You treat it, use it like it's yours, maintain it like it's yours. Leave it to your children. The bank holds the title. You don't own nothing. No one owns nothing. Perfect.
Yep.
Back to the Bible. We're going back to that, whether we like it or not, because this other shit's got to stop, and everybody knows it, and that's why now this is released. Everybody's, relieved. I'm relieved. I slept for a week and ate, and so relieved. It was 5 years on the battlefield. I got carried off by Brody
Wow.
and Jules. I was done. So
Wow.
close to the finish line. And got there the next day, so I'm done on the battlefield, and that's good.
That's
I'm here
awesome.
now.
Now you're just waiting, man.
Well, I don't really. It's not about the money for me, So I'm not comfortable, and I'm not stopping. It's great, but I've already moved on. I'm already doing other things. I'm past that. I'm beyond that. I got over that's the birth certificate mystery solved. That's me sorted. But when I left, I took my whole family. I said, oh shit, I didn't expect that. This is bigger than I thought. And then the community started coming on. Oh yeah, that's right. That's how it works too. And it's just doing that. So I don't really have a choice, because I'm just doing community now, because to save the community. We're putting community members in our bank, but we're not quite ready to do that. We'd love to be able to go, just do a membership form, and you don't have to spend $8,000. The trustees will take it out of the settlement when it comes through. Whatever it costs, just to balance to zero. That's fair enough. They deserve their $8,000. The documents are fucking good.
Yep.
The laws that you create are good.
Yep.
They're the ones you've been looking for, and it really is easy. The trustee, it's a corporate. You got the common law, sovereign entity on the land, the flesh and blood, and you've got that's bought and paid for, mind you. This is about. No one's coming near. No one's got any jurisdiction over your family once you're there. I've never had any money in my life. I done this. I walked out of the lawyers, and I've had charities have asked for money, GoFundMe's, and now I've got people they're just calling me, and they don't even want any more information, just thanking me and want to put money in my bank. So money's going in my bank. I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this. Everything's perfected. It's weird. My life's turned around. But I remember my life being like this when I was young. I always missed it, and I wonder how I'd get back to it. And then I had a taste of it, because we started to set up the charity Straight Talk Australia in 2009 and 2010. We registered in 2011, cured the HIV, and then we sort of went our ways. Things happened, but whatever. But I felt that same feeling then, although we were so close. We just didn't know about the trust deed then. I was so close to funding then, man. You got no idea. We were stood on the property with the agents, and it was perfect. And they were like, oh, grouse, and I was the only one that was there that didn't know what to fucking do next. So we lost out, and it went back to plastering, and just sort of been figuring it out. And then I really got stuck into it in the last few years.
Yep. So you've basically been through all the rabbit holes of the commercial remedies, all these UCC, all these things, right? That's what you're basically saying, and you found that this is the most simple, easiest way that's biblical as well. That you can't beat trust law. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, that's right. This is the way. This is the only way. It was not a secret. People have been doing this probably since the 1600s.
Yep.
They maybe on different levels, because I find that the people, lawyers and banks and the financial experts, don't tend to give you a whole lot of advice in this area. It's not for them to tell you how to do your will. So they're very professional, but they'll do it for you, but they won't. I mean, they'll help you through it, but they don't really say it. It's a really strange area, not a lot of people openly talking about it, even when they're doing it for you. So it's kind of it's a little weird, But by doing it, like you said, yeah, I've been through all them, UCC, whatever, that none of that works. That all that stuff in America and Canada overseas, I ditched all that because it's not Canada or America, it's Australia, and that's, you know, UCC may be right. We've got you know, and their treasury stuff and whatever, but we've got ASIC here, you know, that's where it's at. ASIC. We've
Yep.
got I actually stumbling around, like you're saying, through births, deaths, and marriages. I found computer share and sell my share linked to births, deaths, and marriages. I hacked in there with the numbers and I sold half the Forrester shares, you know. But all of the whole Forrester name, the old school that claimed the big chunk of land way back when anyway, that this wealth linked to for my name, you know. It's all linked to the one, but then there's levels, and mine's the Foresters, right? So I got phone call, you know, and from them.
Yep.
What are you doing? What are you doing? that was actually all approved and archived. And once you've done that, they don't move from that archive until you allocate which shares, right? But I didn't have the portfolio, and that they made that all disappear real quick and changed the website overnight. I watched them as they
Wow.
were doing it overnight because I thought that was a pretty neat trick. But in actual fact, all we do, right, is we invite people in to our lives like that. That's not necessary, and it causes us a lot of problems and a lot of controversy and you know, just fighting and shit. And it's just not necessary to do any of it. They're the one who went, what the hell are you doing? And I was getting stuck into birth, deaths, and marriage, and like, oh, what the hell? But we're giving you money, like it's not that hard, but they won't tell you how to do it. Then, well, what's the
Yeah.
process?
Well, Purple, can you continue? Because you did tell us the first thing we needed was a birth certificate. What else do we need? Do you want to go into that and kind of just give us a rundown of?
Yeah. Well, it's a settlement process. That's the language, and the birth certificate's the settlement certificate, and the trust deed, which is discretionary trust for this, is a settlement deed, right?
Yeah.
But you've probably already opened a bank account with the birth certificate, so they didn't bother with that birth certificate for us, even though my bank is the National Bank, and we're now going with the Bendigo. I'll close all those national banks and that down. Well, I went into the National Bank and I said, I need the name of the company that's trading on the certificate from when I opened the account, right? So I can get the bond out of I was looking for lost paper bonds. You know how you look for lost money at state revenue? I was so close to I was at state revenue, but I was looking for lost paper bonds.
Wow.
And the bank got real snooty and said, this old guy called me and said, don't talk to my staff about those kinds of things. You've got other professional services to discuss those types of matters with. And I was like, oh, I'm onto something, you know, but it was just causing trouble and really unnecessary, because through this process settlement, that's exactly what you're scooping out of there anyway. You know, you've got paper bonds, you've got shares, you've got the membership. A member is a shareholder. You're a member of the state government. You know, I listen to Dan Andrew now. Victorians this and Victorians that, and public laws, Victorian laws. Well, I'm private. I'm not in Victoria. I left Victoria. I cancelled the membership, cashed out, cut out the middleman, and life's pretty good.
So what you're essentially saying is it's not a society. They're all just private associations, basically.
Oh, yeah, within our organisations, right, when you vote, because members may vote, right, but only and votes may be considered, so maybe not, but only the board of directors can elect. And I've got veto, and I've got automatic 25% of the vote. So you're not going to vote anyone out of anywhere. It's not a democracy that you're voting in. Australia is a corporation. So that's not how that works. But they've taken you as a member of their corporation from the country. So you just go back to the country. I've got a black fella doing it. He's going to set up a foundation in his people's name by the river. What was actually the best foundation name anyone's given to me so far. And he's going to claim a bit of land in the trust, and he's going to take his people and their persons over to him and look after his own people as a custodian of the land like they're supposed to, man. Like, it's not ideal, but it's exactly what they wanted. But we're all that anyway. So that's what we all are, custodians now, because he's already doing that, looking after his own people, and he's got a bit of money, you know. And this is just next level of that. This is actually, you are actually custodian the land. That's yours for good now, and you trust in your family people's name, and you can take as many people out of the state as you want. Well, like I said, we've got a membership form. It's this easy, right? You're a member of a state government, Victoria government, say, we give you a membership form, you're a member of our government. So we do your settlement for you and take your person out of the state and bring it over to our trustee.
How long
our
before
trust.
you can do that?
Oh, well, 30 to 90 days, really.
So once it's properly transferred, that's
Yeah,
that's good to go.
we've only just done this, and a couple of guys done it, one yesterday, one today. You know, people are doing it because I'm talking to them, they go, oh, have you got a process, something we can look at? And I said, well, yeah, just when you get off the phone, ring the estate lawyer and tell them exactly what I told you. And they call me back an hour later and he goes, oh, yeah, mine's already done. He was real good chatting to me about it and that. And I said, yeah, of course. This is what it is. It's not all those things that everyone's been trying to do. It's just this that does all that anyway. And actually, some of the things that you're trying to do, you can't do until you've done this because you don't have a title.
Well,
Hey,
look,
we did it. We did
I'm
it.
ready
right?
to go. Rick's ready to go. We got a friend,
Yeah,
Nev.
good.
He's ready to go. I got an
Yeah,
estate lawyer I can talk to. So there we go.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Just
Just tell me you want to do it.
make it clear to us, and we'll be the next ones tomorrow. It's that simple.
Yeah, well, go talk to them. You want to do your settlement. You're going to go to your settlement process. You want to do
Okay.
your will, estate planning for your family, right? That's what they
Estate
want to hear.
planning, sure.
Yeah, they want to hear you want to, take care of your family and things like that. You want to go back to God. That's what they want to hear.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
like that. It's your
And then
inheritance.
what do I say next?
Oh, they'll probably tell you what to do next. You say, I don't know. What do you say when you call a lawyer? You want to make an appointment to do your last will and testimony, your estate planning. As an estate lawyer, you
Oh,
want
I
to do
see
estate
what you're saying. We're just basically doing the will and testament.
Yeah, but you're going to do that through the trust, with a trust for a family foundation, because you want to do the settlement. And they'll know what you're talking about, and they'll help you go through that, give you quotes, whatever. Open bank accounts and do the whole thing. Get the shares moving over for you in your set.
We want a settlement because they're deceased, and as the
None of that. Yeah, none of that. It's your inheritance, though. They did ask, where the wealth's coming from to fund this thing. And I said, it's from my inheritance. I'm transferring my shares out of the Victorian Treasury to the bank treasury. And she said,
okay, so that's the key point here. It's like we're setting up the will, and it's like, okay, well, what are you going to hand down? Oh, yeah, this, because this is mine, and this is what you're going to take care for me. And the lawyer's like, oh, great, that's what I was designed to do. Fucking hell, it's like the answer was right in front of us the whole time.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Today I was looking.
Congratulations.
Sorry to cut you, Purple. I was looking right at it in canon law, right? Everything led me to canon law, and I was like, this looks a lot simpler than anyone's making it. And I was talking to my friend Nev over the phone, and I was saying, Nev, I just see three things. I see the title, I see the claim of right, and then what was the last one? They tell it, they literally like paint it for you in this canon law. The last one was.
Thanks for bringing that up to that claim of right. I want to touch on that one.
Yeah, I can give you that document. It's I was reading the Canonum de les Rex Canons of Sovereign. Yeah, canons of sovereign. Very particular here, because I realized that the rules of the game all come through the church and their church documents. That's where it was the whole time. It's not through the UPU. That's just commerce and the organization. It's through the church.
Yeah, that's right. It's none of that. Well, I thought that everybody was making it too complicated. A lot of my thing was to take things that were complicated and make them simple, to translate them to layman, right? And so I spent years trying to do that, to make things into simple, because anything simple can be complicated. Anything complicated must be simple, right? And I kind of used that same sort of method. That's partly what I used to do this, you know. And when I figured that out, I was like, oh, is that it? It's because like we're stumbling around like clumsy fools, and I've come across this great big X and gone, we're looking for the treasure. I'm like, oh, what's this? Everybody's clumsy. Like we're all stumbling around for years. Like I wasn't. It's like, oh, is that it there? Right, it's right there. Look. And you're like, oh, damn it.
Damn it!
So,
After
sorry,
4 cars.
sorry to
Yeah,
sorry to
after 2
grill you
years.
so much, Purple, but I got so excited, man, because I literally I understand everything you're talking
Yeah,
about.
good.
And it
Yeah,
just
well,
clicked with me because I, like you, have been feeling like it's got to be simpler and it's got to be in trust and it's got to be there in front of us. And today I found it in canon law and you matched it hand in glove. Okay. So all I want to ask you is just so when I do talk to the lawyer tomorrow, because I will call him in the morning, I would like to know what else are they going to require? Because right now, both me and Rick, what we've done is we've printed like the counterclaim on the birth certificate at the back of it. Are we going to just need a fresh one then?
No, well, they didn't even ask me for my birth certificate. I had a fresh one there too, but as I said, you know, they've already got that, so it doesn't really matter. You gave it to the bank. If one's got it, they've all got it, man. Trust me, they
So
know
all
I am.
that's, I'm guessing
know
all
I am
that's
before I
important here is the long form, right? Which is a registration document that
Yeah,
has
no,
you as, no?
no, I got that. There's no need for that. The letter that came with it's pretty useful. That's the
So,
one that
okay, so
said,
how do you communicate it to the estate lawyer then? Because I feel like some of it will get lost in translation unless there are specific keywords. And you did say that that content got removed from the website, so.
oh no, that was different. You know, that was a while back. That was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
That's got nothing to do with this.
But
You
yeah,
know, well, you just talk to them, and then they'll, you know, each of them does it a little bit different. So they'll, you know, they'll guide you through what to do.
so
You don't
you're
really
telling
need.
me that every estate lawyer's done it for so many wealthy people before?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Why wouldn't they do it for themselves then?
Well, they probably do, but you know, they provide a service. Like that's what we do.
I see.
I think they'll know what you're
It's not-
talking about, Gray. Once you start saying a few,
Okay.
once you start saying a few of these words, it's basically their language, man.
Okay. But just help me visualize it. Me as the private man, I'm telling the lawyer that I, the private man, would like a will privately in a family trust operating in the private, and I would like to pass down my my assets that were granted to me on, you know, as a birthright, basically.
Well, no, you don't have to say all that stuff and emphasize private because it's private anyway. That's what you're going to do. You're moving into private, so you don't need to. You really, the less you say, the better, because they're,
Right.
you know, they're going to do it for you. So let them talk and tell you what, you know, they expect you to do or whatever. Make an appointment for you. Come in, bring whatever. They'll get it done for you. Just follow what they say, man. You're just
So
gonna.
we're just acting as the person and we're saying, oh, I want to do the testament. And then as soon as everything's done, that's where we pull out the paperwork to prove that that person's dead, and then we claim it.
You don't have to prove anyone's dead or anything like that. That's the sort of nonsense that's gonna get you turned away. They don't want to hear any of that stuff. It's
Yeah, because
just
it was dead the moment we were born. Yeah.
yeah, but they don't want to hear about any of that crap.
They've probably heard it all the time, man. We'll just probably keep it a lot more simpler, I think, just from man to man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't need. They don't need to hear about that stuff. It's not a part of it. It's settlement. It's your inheritance.
Dave, can you write it in the text chat in simple format? You said it's 3 simple things. So you ring up, you want to do your settlement, and you want to create a discretionary trust and set up a foundation. Is that right?
Yeah, for settlement, and they'll do it. And then they'll call you to do your will, right? You'll need to, because you can be specific with family members or just general, or so you'll sit down and do that with them. They'll ask you where the wealth's coming from. Probably I said it's my inheritance. I'm just transferring the shares out of the state treasury to the bank treasury, and that was acceptable. So I wouldn't go any deceased estate. Yeah, you're the heir. Well, you're the heir.
Once you've got all of that in place, then you're taking that next step, which you're in at the moment, of applying for that transfer, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
Is
what
that
they do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
They'll lodge the trust deed for you. Now, they'll probably have articles of association and, you know, they'll be the trustee. You need a PTY for a trustee. So we bought one for $570, but you don't necessarily have to have that when you can use their trustees. That's what they do anyway. So you can use them as trustee, but the lawyer
That
will
was-
be
Sorry.
set law, right? The lawyer will be set law. So you just stick to the settlement. That's what you're doing. Settlement. Set up a family foundation for settlement. That's all you need to say. You want to set up a family foundation for settlement. You know, what do you need to do? And they'll tell you. It's piss easy. People will ring me up an hour later and go, oh, it's done. It was real good talking to them. I said, yeah, I told you, man. There's no big deal. You don't need me or anything else or any bullet points or, you know, lessons or meetings or anything. You just need to go, you know, there's financial services mobs that do this, but they've got lawyers, and there's lawyer mobs that do this, but they've got financial experts in there. So either one, you know, you're doing estate lawyers what you want. Plenty of estate lawyers around. You know, I want to do a family trust settlement. Let's go. Give me all my money. And they'd be like, yeah, no worries. Just do that. Don't make a big thing out of it. Deceased estates. Yeah, the heir, of course. It's in the Bible. That's what you're claiming as a law. So you can talk about that.
So you obviously let the lawyer know that if you do have a deceased, you know, parent, what's the story with that? Will you let them know that, and then they'll take care of that, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's all taken care of in settlement. You know, it's their family name. So you're honouring your parents doing this as well. It's part of it.
So
Because honour.
are you kind of
trust, right?
transferring their their shares as well into this one foundation, I guess? Is that what you mean? Settlement.
Yeah. You just put it in your treasury, right? Because you've got
Yep.
a treasury now.
Okay.
Take them out of the state, put them in your treasury, in yours, and, you know, manage their affairs or have them manage their own. You deal with the trustee anyway.
And
Normally,
taking them out of the state, or if you're out of the state, does that mean that there's going to be responsibilities from our point of view, though, personally, isn't there? We're going to have to govern ourselves, self-governing, as we were in the beginning. So,
man.
there'll be a lot of responsibility with this out of the system, out of the Whore of Babylon, right?
That's right, and you'll be back benevolent. So yeah, you'll be in service. We've got a war to fight, so it's not going to be pretty, but you know, we'll see how it goes. This is going to be a remedy to a lot of things, so we don't know. It's going to change a lot of things. More people that leave the state, tip the powers, you know, the scales, balance the powers a little bit. Things are going to change. I'll tell you that, man. It's going to change a lot. It's already changing a lot.
Yeah.
Divergent 5 and that are already catching on to this stuff because they're really very close but they're lodging on to PPSR.
Yeah.
They're doing the same similar thing, but they're lodging on PPSR and went, no, that's not it. It's state revenue, bro. You're so close. But now hopefully they've got it and they're all going to do it. You're all going to do it and we're all going to do it.
Yeah. They're all about the secured part and the equity.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, but you don't need PPSR's not for that. So that's not it. I've registered my intellectual property on there, which is the name that my mother gave me, but you know, that's no big deal. It's not copyright or you know, branding with the branding or anything like that. Trademark, copyright that you can go. You used it. You better bring your checkbook. You don't need it. You don't need any of that anyway because you just do this.
Yeah.
You know, it's well known. You create a new entity, you roll everything into it. So now that your name and date of birth and everything is rolled into that new entity and safe. And another thing is that when you become old enough to create an entity, right, and you create a new entity, you don't need to prove your age. You're old enough to create a new entity. You're old enough, you know. There's nothing to prove.
Yep.
And that you're that entity now, you know. I'm the Eleanor Foundation, you know. So, you know, but I'm still David Forrester. I just don't do any business anymore. I don't contract anymore. I don't do any business anymore.
And that's your association of articles of association that will do that. I'm guessing by you determine whatever you want in that world, right? In your
Yeah,
government.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Don't need anyone's permission. Grow weed or whatever.
So you work with the lawyers to do that up yourself with what rules that you want to negotiate. Do they help you with all that, mate?
Yeah, that's right. Because you've got standard documents, but you don't need to change the articles of association. You just need to put, you know, the such and such foundation and then sign that, you know. They're good.
Yep.
You read them, but they're good. You don't have to show them to anyone or anything, though.
Yep.
You mean it's autograph, right? Sign it with an autograph.
Yeah, well, yeah, autograph it, sorry. But yeah, the trust deed I signed, with the trust deed, I did my thumbprint with the autograph over it because that's how it started and that's how it's ending with my prints, that membership. So I did that, but yeah, autograph normally doesn't, they don't care if you put an X on it, they'll take it. But yeah, I did the thumbprint with the signature over it on the deed. Because that's how it started, you know. They took my feet and handprints when I was a little bubba and registered that, and they put that in the record. So that's now how it's ended. It's kind of cool, really. It doesn't really matter, you know, what color. There's many ways you can sign, but that's the way you would do it, like you know, as king. So I'm not signing any more contracts ever again. That was my last one. So that's pretty cool. I thought that's all right. You know, you got a common seal stamp. That's why you keep the common seal stamp under lock and key. That's your signature. You know, you just stamp it, send it to the trustee. You don't do no contracting and usury bullshit. You don't do anything, any kind of, well, don't sin because it's dead. It's not sin. Sin's from archery where you just off target, you know, you just miss the target. That's what a sin is. It's not bad, but it's not what the word is. The word is debt.
Yep.
You know, so
Sorry for sounding stupid with this question, but what's a common seal stamp and how would we acquire one?
You acquire one with your entity. Like you just go to we've got Printworks here. So Printworks makes common seal stamps. You know, they make all kind of stamps. So that'll be your stamp with your company number on it. Because we don't have an ABN, but we've got a company number. We'll probably get an ABN, or they can. I don't care.
So it would look like Frank's picture, right? See Frank, how he's got the seal of the family Hoyek, like something like that, but with a number, right?
Yeah, that's right. No, that's good enough. That's still your seal. That's your seal. So that's quite a good seal, yeah. But that's right. So you don't sign anything. You whack your seal and send it to the trustee. They discharge the debt. Now it's kind of your signature, I guess, but you don't partake in usury anymore. You're Scrooge McDuck rolling around your room full of money. You know, piff a little bit over to the trustee. So
could it be like a coat of arms? Could you use a coat of arms, or does it have to follow a rule? Like it has to be circular like that?
I suppose you could use your coats of arms. I don't know. I wonder about that because we don't have a chieftain in our clan anymore. But this is more, you're the chieftain now, you know, this is micro, multi-clan, you know, multi-government type of setups now. So I suppose you could do that. In some kind of seal or like make up your own. But it's really linked to your surname. That's your family, you know, bloodline and wealth and the ones that claim the land and the titles. So it's all linked to that. I think the Pope's got all the land on top of that. Then the first clans that took the real big chunks of land and all that wealth. Anyway, now it's all sort of like changed and it's just going to, I suppose, like that multiverse thing, multi-governments, the miniature governments instead of one state of Victoria in our hands. Heaps of us.
Yeah, many nations.
I know a lot of smart people that are going to take members, you know, not just them and their family. They're going to take members, and that's what we're doing. But there's a lot of people that just want to do them and their family with the individual trustee, which is doing no business at all. It just issues you an income through whatever tax bracket. So you win there. You got your trustee can issue you income through various tax brackets. So that's where you'll win with tax, and that's really the best, most simple thing. You have spread light wherever you go anyway. So you just got, say you get 10 grand a week. So you're not doing any business, going about your life, travel the world, whatever. Spread the love, and you go to meetings with people, seminars, whatever you're into, changing the world. That's what all of us are into. Look, most people are, the sheeple are in neutral,
They're at the vaccination lines, mate.
Yeah, well, I'll drop some of them off if they like, not really, but it's a bit hard to take, I suppose. Everybody's had enough of it, so this is the remedy. This is going to change not just that, but a lot of things.
Now, who can you appoint trustee? Lawyers? How does that work?
Yeah.
Isn't it better to appoint them the judge as a trustee?
No, it's
not
got
really,
nothing
man.
To do with it. Nothing to do with the judge or courts or police. I mean, they don't have any jurisdiction over your family anyway. So.
Okay.
So lawyers will do that.
Yeah, lawyers should do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody's had any problems so far. Everybody's been really well received, and I was surprised that they were received really well, and they were talking that same. They're estate lawyers. That's what they do. Settlement. Just go and do settlement. I leave the state, take my money, and probably shake your hand. But yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, as far as you have to do it with a lawyer, and it's going to cost some money. So we've got articles of association, but that doesn't really save a lot, and I think that the estate lawyer or whatever would rather do the whole lot. Ours was kind of a little bit snooty when there was nothing really. We paid for our company, and we paid for pretty much everything. There's nothing for her to charge, so I don't think she was that happy about that, because we weren't either. We would rather have the $6,000 or whatever and just go, here, can you do that? Because it's been a nightmare for us. And we've got people that got money that are going, no, we'll just watch and see how you go and that. And like, oh, but they're worried about if they're going to lose their wealth in the digital change and that. I'm like, oh, but you don't want to chuck any money into this way. Like you're on the battlefield and they've got all the bullets, and they were, we're just going to let you go first and see how you go. And you're like, oh, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
We want to get the money so we can pay for people's because they don't have any money, but we can't. Anyway, we ended up with people now that have got money that are doing their own, which is partly, what I said too, that'd be great. Don't give us any money, do it yourself. You don't need anything. You just need to call them and say that, and then that's it. And they call back and like, oh yeah, did that, it's all done. The trustee's done. Like they're already passing us, and it's only been, what was it, yesterday?
That's crazy, man.
It's that good, man.
Wow.
It's no joke. That's why I thought I'd pop on and.
Yep.
I was I'll still be loyal to the Crown Group for that, but you gotta see people wasting time, good people that will get this done for themselves straight away without wasting too much time trying to do things that don't work.
So
like
wait, you did it.
Yeah.
You did it as the Crown, then you did the foundation. No,
I don't do any of that.
No, I'm just curious because Jake sort of does that, and I saw that all as nonsense, and I thought, fuck that. I have an estate. I want to claim it.
No title, right?
Oh no, I'm not in the Crown Group so much, but Jason gave me I met Jason through John. We get the foundation in 2018. We thought it was a trust, but nobody seemed to know how to complete the trust, and it was, that can't be it. Just sign that document and that's it. So then I come across the trust deed. That's it. And then you've got to have the corporate trustee to open the bank account and then put the token amount in because it's a share account. So you kind of make up shares. I made 250 shares when I bought the company, and 10 cents is $25 or something. So when I open the account, I've got to put $25 in it. But that allows for the real wealth to come over, your dollar shares.
Yeah, that sounds exactly how we did our LLC. Like I joined with a couple of others in a venture, and that's how we did it. So it's relative, you know.
Yeah. No, well, it just gets a bit painful for them when you start talking about deceased estates and crown and sovereign and whatever. They're like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
of course, yeah, because
Yeah, it's not
they just
about
want to know
that.
what's in the acts. Yeah.
It's not about that. It's just a really simple settlement state. I suppose that, you know, we're all sick of having no money, and they're all sick of us not taking the money that they're trying to give to us, and we need to stop all of this controversy and fighting. It's going to bring peace. This is a beautiful thing, and it rings true to people. Everyone I talk to, they already know a lot, so they're already, oh my God, that's just so good. And then, you know, and people are going, oh, I called them and I said, oh, I'm doing settlement, and then they're like, yeah, no worries, it's all done and that. And I'm like, good on you, man. That's what I want to hear. We don't want to sit in a study group for 3 months and get,
Yeah.
no, there's none of that.
So
It's
did
good
they call
knowledge.
us, did they talk to the lawyer as the person or as just them as their first name?
Yeah, well, you know, you have a person. Most people say, oh, is that you? And I say, well, it's not me, but it is mine, but I don't hold a title to it. So then, you know, I've been talking about this stuff for a while, but I've got it all right, because I've been, like Centrelink said, I've never seen anyone do the things that I've done, and the police said that, and the court and the mental health mobs, they all said that, and they haven't ever seen anyone do it. When 20 police and terrorist threat police and fixated threat mental health cops come to your house to take you away, they're taking you away, right? Not me, mate. 3-hour standoff, they all stood down.
So when we speak to the estate lawyer, where like it's okay to tell them that we're not that person, but it is ours.
Yeah, well, it's true, you know. It is, and
true.
you don't even hold the title for it. And yeah, it is, of course, it's true, and the shares are true, and the wealth is true. You know, no one starts a monopoly without startup money. But yeah, it's true. It's hard to believe it. I know that's the hard part, but you know that one of the hardest parts is the action of actually. I've been trying to convince people, just get off the phone, right? And I know, just call them and talk to them, and that's a real hard step for people to actually doing. But once they do it, they're like, "Oh my God, I just can't believe that it's that easy." And it was that, and I said, "I know." When I stumbled across it, I went, "Oh my God, I can't believe, is that it? That they just lodge a trust deed to state revenue and you get all that." But you know, you do need the articles of association, that contract. You know, that the family foundation. You have to have that. You just put that in your drawer, though. You don't have to show it to anyone. I will show the copy of the bank. Big deal. That's the
Yeah,
easy
I already
part.
have my articles like drafted out for my foundation, so I'm good to go in that sense.
Yeah, and that's the easiest one, and you don't give it anywhere, register it anywhere. It's the most powerful one.
Mm.
And that's your trust, and that's your family, and that's you know, back on the land and the foundation and the house. You putting your family back in God, basically putting it back in, whole family, you, whoever, back in the Bible.
Yeah.
Like we used to do. Enter your children in the Bible. You enter them in your trust, in your family trust. You care for them yourself. You get their greedy little
I followed,
hands
by the way, Eleanor, I followed a template where someone else is for the trust that basically says, you know, I am the living man of the land of, you know, Terra Australis, blah, blah, blah. Which is, you know, it's all technically true. That's our geographical location. You know, they can say what they want. They're administered from an island. So, yeah, I'm curious, what's your thoughts on that? You know, as inside the Articles of Association, you know, just kind of establishing that this is who we are, because, you know, we're the ones that sort of sign off or you know, sign off on it at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, that's the one that has the old school sort of language like that in it. You know, that's the old school common law, family.
Yeah.
You know, man to man. You just
under
sign
God,
it.
yeah.
Couple of you know, couple of man, woman, whatever, witness it. That's it. You know, it's in front of God. It's with God. So it surprises me that all these lawyers and that respect that as much as they do. They don't even want to look at it. They go, "Oh yeah, cool, man. No, good. That's a that's a thing, you know. That's a sovereign. That's a sovereign entity, and they think it's great, but they don't need to look at it or register it. They're all very well aware of it, and it's a bit unusual to me too. You know, it's a bit weird. You know, I'm saying I'm the Eleanor Foundation and the Commonwealth, and Eleanor Purple Proprietary Limited in Victoria, and I'm standing in the same place. You know, it's all crazy, but that's what it is. You're in and out. You know, I'm on the land, but I can do business on the water.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I never thought about that, acting as the foundation, because all they want to hear is something like basically something with a name, and you give them the name of the foundation and they can't do anything. You fulfilled their requirements, but now they can't do anything, right? And you have the card to prove it. You just pull out the bank card, right?
Yeah, well, that's right, man. You don't have to. I mean, you'll have something.
I fucking knew it all along, because for months now I've been telling others, I've been like, man, Bill Gates, he's got the foundation. That must be it. It must all be around the foundation. I think that foundation. So I've been researching all I can in foundations, and here I am. And man, tonight's just been a wow. You know, just wow.
Really, yeah, good.
Wow.
Man.
You have been a godsend tonight, honestly, mate. And there's no coincidence that you've come here when you did.
Yeah, no, I got a message. Got a message from someone here. Said it'd be great if I could pop in, and my presence, I couldn't deny it. My presence, I thought that's a pretty cool word. I'll do that. And being a godsend, and this is a godsend. This is from God, so this is pretty good. You know, there's no poor intent. But you know what I was going to say. I've had this claim of right and notice of intent in that since about 2016, I think. And I haven't been able to figure out a place for where that goes. And now I know exactly where that goes, because that's all the common law stuff. That's got my fee schedule in it. I know exactly where that goes now. And I think that I can lodge that. That'll be the one that I can lodge with the trust deed, because that's a notice for public record as well, that thing. And I thought, well, how do I, because notaries wouldn't notarize it. And I'm like, I don't really get notarized. What is that? Because they talk about, was it going overseas? And I'm like, oh, here we go. I don't know. Really don't know. Anyway.
Well,
but, you know, this is all now come together, and, gee, it's good. Really good. So I'm glad you're here and I could come in. And it's been another really good chat. All of the chats have been awesome. People call me and they don't want to leave. We talk on the phone for 3 hours. Like we're in the presence of God. No one wants to leave. You know, it's hard to leave. It's crazy. It's been really good.
We're as a collective, we've been overdue, mate.
That's right, man.
And this is what people on groups aren't talking about at all. They're just blind to actually accepting what the truth is, man. Collectively,
it's tunnel vision.
You know, everything's changing, man.
I said, if this doesn't happen soon, like it's killing me, you know, I'm beat up. I literally got carried off the battlefield like 2 days before solved it, sort of, then had, you know, a bunch of stuff to figure out, navigating and mapping the uncharted waters through the lawyers and whatnot, making silly mistakes. But anyway, it was pretty good, because I myself was like, oh my God, are you even there? Is this ever going to have a... And then, well, how are we ever going to get out of these Dan Andrews and that now on getting heavier and darker and talking about the children? Finally, they're onto the children, the bastards. And God's like, oh, wait for it. Wait, not yet. And then just flicks a light on. That's all gone. Bam, wiped out, turned the light on, see it, all of it. Now everyone's just going to leave the state.
Yep.
Just simply cancel your membership in the state of Victoria and leave. You know, you can cancel your membership from anywhere at any time and take your shares anytime. And now I shit myself off for a while. I've known, but like sort of members, we have members. And so I have to read through their laws and that and suss it out. But when, like, if Woolies ask me if I have a rewards card, and I go, I'm not a member, am I? I don't want to be a member. Fuck being a member. These people are all sucking people into being a member. You can't be a member, go and buy a couple of tyres unless you're a member. So I don't want them fitted or anything. I just want to buy them and chuck them in the car and go. I'll fit them in the panel shop when I get to Bendigo. You gotta be member. I get that now, don't you? No, rat bags.
Yep. So, technical question, what's technically your correct status? When does that happen? Is that when you get the settlement or when you start with your intention?
Well, when you start with your intention, yeah,
Yeah.
things changed for me when I did the articles of association, but mostly when I left the lawyers, and it's realization it's a real thing. We're actually now, after all this time and trying to get here, actually just did that in there, thinking I'm taking myself and my person out of the state, real proud of myself, real happy, and then left there, took my whole family, and I was like, I can't believe that just happened. This is bigger than I thought or realized. But God don't show you it all at once, because you don't. I'll turn around and run. Had known I was going to put me here, like, we're going to be in 5 years. I don't want to know, man. I already went through the whole HIV. We cured that. Then we went through this and we did that. I don't want to know what's next. I'll be a bit frightened of whatever's next. But what next seems to me like I did get carried off the battlefield, basically. Now I'm doing this, and this is awesome. These are going down really well. The words of people are loving the words, and the word is God, and God is the word. I've been saying that for ages. You'll find that secrets are in the word of God. The truth is in the words. And not only
Definitely.
that, if you say a few choice words, you can have the whole army stand down like they did here. One other time they flipped sides and stood at attention in row like I was the king. They switched sides, and I still don't really know what happened. I definitely can't remember what I said, but it must have been good. I
That's
didn't film that
that's
one.
like a Hollywood movie, seeing that one, man, to have an army of the Roman army stand down and actually serve you, the man, the living man. That's a very powerful scene. You
Well,
know,
it was actually sorry, but it was actually the Victoria Police that stood down, and the Roman army that stood up by my side, because
wow.
that's who you've got protecting you when you go to the bank treasury, right? You got that army. You got all the protection of the crown too, So that's the point
You got
of
full
there.
immunity.
Yeah, you got no liability. That sovereignty has no liability. You've got all that. It's really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is, man. And I'm glad it's working for other people. I'm so relieved. Was it Andy called me and said, "Oh yeah, I did that. That's done. Trust deed, everything." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man. That's just made it all worthwhile." He just didn't muck around. He's got plenty of money though, so he just, he's a lad. He's a rooster. He just did it. I was like, "Great, that's good." And everybody's having um the same sort of experience. They're all being welcomed and talking about. Like I said, don't say too much. Don't go on about all that stuff that it'll turn them off. Your sovereign, the crown, whatever. It's all part of it. They're
Do you-
waiting for you to come there anyway.
Yeah, you just what I feel from what you're saying is just speak man to man. Just, all men are created equal, so just speak man to man, right?
Yeah, brother. I'll
I
tell you
come I
what.
come with clean hands. This is what I'm wanting to do.
Well, I was surprised because I started to talk to the heads of Services Australia and the banks and the place, and I found that they're all old school Aussies like Marlene and Rod, and these real cool people just like us.
Wow.
They are just like us, and they're real cool, and they're real glad to see you. And I was surprised about that, because I thought they'd be Chinese or something, but nah. No, they're not getting anywhere near that. I'll tell you that now.
Wow.
Yeah, so you'll be surprised, and you'll be happy. I hope you're happy. I really hope that you give them a call, and it all goes smooth as it is for everybody else that's doing it.
And then we search for the private section of the banks as well when we want to ring them up. Do they have a specific number we need to look in?
Yeah, well, you could ring them, but you can just go into the branch. Local branches do that.
Yeah.
We did all that. You don't need to do that, because we did all that. And if you go into the local branch, they're aware that you can set up any kind of account that you want, and they'll take the details down real specifically, because it's not up to them to tell you what sort of account that you want to open, but they'll open it whatever type of account that you want. but you'll have to go to the bank with your documents for this kind of account anyway. So
Yep.
you'll get that sorted out with the lawyer.
Yep.
Wait,
And
do
that's
you
why
mean
we
the?
say,
Sorry to butt in there. Do you mean for the private foundation? You're saying to go to a private branch?
no, well,
Is this for the discretionary trust?
yeah, well, the bank account, in general, because you're moving from public to private. The state treasury is public, the bank treasury is private. So you're moving from there anyway.
So you're saying once we choose a bank like Bendigo or Commonwealth or whoever we choose, and we create the private foundation, they'll then have a private branch that deals with private foundations that's separate from that public number that people normally call.
Yeah. Well, they're both the same, because they've got the duality there already. They're public and private. So that they're a public branch, sort of, but you can open a private account there for a family foundation or trust, but you won't open an account there for your family foundation. You won't open an account or register that anywhere. That the trustee will have to do the bank account in the PTY corporate company, the shell company.
Which is what the lawyer's for, sure.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it yourself like I am, but I bought my own PTY trustee company. I'm not using another PTY company because my structure is very complex. We've got two family foundations, and we've got the Eleanor Foundation, which is for the community in Bendigo to have that $40 billion, not us. We'll get crumbs of that. We'll get crumbs from that achievement, or 4 million each or whatever. I mean, we don't care for that. We don't want to have all that wealth and stuff that's for Bendigo. Our families have got wealth and that they're non-business. So see, we're just going to both and put some of our wealth into the Eleanor Foundation, get it running.
Is there an advantage to you choosing the Bendigo Bank? Like, was there a reason why you didn't choose, like, let's say the Commonwealth, given that their name is Commonwealth, which kind of indicates to me that they were probably one of the first set up to do this sort of thing? I don't know, just a guess.
Well, any of the big four will do this. Anyone outside the big four wouldn't bother with doing this because they're just doing this. So little credit union will just set up a company and park it there like and be so anywhere in the big four. But I went to Bendigo because we're doing the cannabis farm in Bendigo for the community in Bendigo, the Bendigo Bank. That's why. But the NAB Bank wants to do this with me, but I don't want to do it with the NAB Bank. They're trying to sweeten me and lure me over there, and asking if the deceased estate was David Forrester, and I'm like, oh no, you had your chance, you turned your back. They didn't. No, they cold shouldered me. So, well, they did. They cold shouldered me. So I went to the Bendigo Bank, and he said, "Yeah, fucking yeah, man, come over here, come on down, cannabis farming."
So you were transparent with the bankers, and you were like, oh, I'm not the person, but I, like you basically talked to the bank the same way you did with the lawyer. You were just like, hey, I'm not the person. I'm just the one opening it up, but I've got the identification of the person. Is that right?
No, I don't use any of that language, man. I just want to
I
open.
thought so. With the banks, you have to be the person, don't you? You have to act.
Well, you don't. You just don't need to use person. We just open an account up in the trustee name. That's the language you use in the PTY.
Yeah. No, sorry, I did word that poorly. Yeah, forgive me for that.
Well, no, but I get what you mean, and it's right. But you don't need to be that specific about it. You're both anyway now. Like
that's right.
Even with the knowledge that you've got now from tonight, and without doing anything, you're already changed your life. You're already done. You know what I mean? It's done anyway. So you don't need to be, that using that kind of, because you are obviously you're setting up a person. They know what a person is, but you don't need to call it a person. You just call it a company. You open an account in the company name. It's a person. They don't need people to show off their language, etymology skills or whatever. They're doing a business. They're doing their job, So just keep it simple, just like everyday talk. You're obviously you're a man and you have a person, and now you're going to roll that
person, all your assets into the new entity.
No, because I spoke to the bank before and they did ask me some kind of, I don't know, they were tricky questions to answer, like one that I got from Commonwealth that kind of made me pause for a second was, who's the account being opened up for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's right. Well, mine is for the mine's Eleanor Purple Proprietary Limited. That's the account's being opened up for. That's the corporate shell. You can't open an account up in your legal entity. You don't want to register that anywhere. That's a contract with God. You don't want to break that, man.
Yeah. Oh, so you're opening the private foundation with the name of the trust.
Pretty much. Well,
that's what you're saying we're doing, basically.
You open the corporate entity opens the bank account, and that's where it sits, right? The trustee is the corporate entity, but the trust actually sits there. The trust actually sits with the trustee in the bank account. Now, the family foundation's the trust, but that actually sits with the trustee because the trustee manages that. That's the wealth. That's why they put a ribbon around it and put it in their vault.
Yeah.
You just created wealth and unlimited. Everything actually unlimited. And so it's quite a big deal.
You'd be the administrator in that setup, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. Well, you're the principal and you're the administrator, you're the director, you're the owner, founder, shareholder. So you don't, like, if you're doing any business, but in the family, say I mix them up, like, to keep it simple with the individual trustee that doesn't do any business is the most simple form. Most people just stick to that, you know.
Yeah, so when I go into the bank, I'm just going to be telling them that it's for the name of my discretionary trust, basically.
Yeah, you open it up in the name of the trustee.
Yeah, and when I get pulled over by police, once this is all done, I'd use that same name. I'd use the name of the trustee, right? Or
Yeah,
no, I'd use the name of the foundation. Which one would it be? Like, which one do you use?
Well, you just use your name that your mother gave you because you've now got the title for that. You know, that's yours, man.
What? How would we, like, no one could ever answer this because I've asked it a lot, but what is evidence of the actual title on paper?
That'll be the paperwork that's bound in the archives and public records. That's all bound, all the original documents. I've got a letter from them that came with the original registration document and said they took a photocopy of it because the original registration document's on the top of the book that's bound, right? So I got a shitty sort of photocopy of the top of the book, you know, because the book's still bound in the archives.
So it's the registration document that they used that gave rise to the birth certificate, right?
Yeah, that's right. But that's you though. So
the one that has a box that says born live.
Yeah, it means really very little. It's not of any use, that document. Really, in the end, in the settlement process, that document's no use at all.
But you're telling me that that's what I'd give someone as proof of title.
Oh no, that's not proof of title. That's just a copy. Like, that's just a copy document, right? It's a copy of a copy, that document. It's been copy edited. So you notice it's been
exactly. So what would we give them? What would you give a police officer who's like, oh, you know?
Well, I don't, man. I'll tell you when I've got it in my hand because we're in settlement, so we don't know. This is brand new. I'd say though, like David, I got sent David Straight, and I've never heard of him, but he does the exact same thing, and he's pretty smart, and he's more diplomatic than me, you know, and he's getting around the world. He's an ex-military and whatnot, and he said that they use a federal passport for traveling. But you'll have something, you know, because they won't be allowed to detain you. Or...
Well, look, that's what I just applied for today, a federal passport. Now, I didn't mind that document says that the person's a citizen, right? because I thought, okay, I'll clean that up later anyway. I'll just apply for this passport now. As long as I get the autograph on the passport that has the column separating my Christian name from the name of the, estate.
Yeah, he's still there somewhere. You can't, I don't suppose that you would just make up an Eleanor Foundation passport because you're with the big bank. So a federal passport for travel kind of makes sense to me. Because they've got
Same here. Because you're not the citizen. The person is the citizen, but you aren't.
Yeah,
and then once you get that moved, technically the person isn't the citizen anymore.
No, I mean, you can tell them that your name and they can try and look it up in Victoria, but they won't find anything. And actually, I don't know what they would find. They must put something there for them to find, like do not stop and detain.
Yeah, so basically once that gets pulled out like it did with you, like once we apply for it and we're waiting for the 30 to 60 days like you, at that point they've already removed us from the system, right? And we can just essentially ask them for proof that we are on some kind of do not detain register. Is that right?
Oh, Rusty dog. Sorry. I really don't know, man, because we're really not there.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, my understanding anyway, Grey Man, I think we will never get rid of the straw man, brother, on their books because
Oh no, I'm not saying they would. I'm just saying like some kind of document to say that we aren't a citizen
some
anymore.
authentication or something. We should be able to just write our own, man.
Well, no, it's not about getting off the records or books or whatever, but a landholder.
All I'm saying is when you travel to another country, something to show them.
I think you're trying to overcomplicate something that's really simple, and you're trying to make it into something that's not. With all this nonsense, it's got very little to do with the settlement process, man.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right.
But don't worry, we do that, because it's the treasure hunt is exciting. We make it complicated.
Yeah, it's my words, Purple. It's the thinking. It's everything that's come up to my life now, just overcomplicating things, making my brain something it shouldn't be. So I'll rephrase that in a simple way, like I should have first time.
Well, you don't need to be.
Is there going to be any proof of the exit of membership? That's what I mean. That's all I meant to ask.
Well, of course, man. I'm expecting they'll present me with something. It's quite a big deal. Maybe it's that key to the city thing, or so. There's going to be something. It's quite a big deal. I've already been congratulated by the bank and the lawyer. Like a non.
In the city of London, they have a free man register.
Yeah, but it's just there's no use to any of this though. This is really simple. Like a free man, you're a sovereign entity with your family foundation. You're the king there. You got the same name, but you've got the title. So you're important. Once you've got the title, you're a landholder. You're a lord. My grace, Royal Majesty now. Majesty. We're walking around at the launch party. Majesty, hey, your grace. Now we've got Lady Jules because she's got big Lady Jules. She took on the state and she won.
I've contacted some title officers, Eleonora, just about documents that they quoted in their websites about titles, because I really want to read into titles. It's something that's hard to find information on. I'm curious, man. Could you just quickly share with us?
Yeah, that'd be something I've never really looked into either, and it's probably a good idea to do that.
Yeah, well, we'll keep in touch, mate, because I read into a lot of this stuff other people don't really look at, like canon law and now titles.
Well, that's good. You're a details man, and that's good to have them details, but you don't really need to be that specific when you're talking. Like, I just don't want you to go into this. If you go calling them and have that in your heart, isn't going to really work in your favor.
No, not at all. Not at all. But like we use that word titles, and I just would like to know what it means in the context of what we're doing and how we'd be able to give ourselves a title that's recognized.
Yeah, well, that's the title, because you don't have the title. That's what you're getting is the title, and that's the difference. You don't have the title. People say, "Oh no, you don't want this. You've got to get rid of this." surname and whatever title, you don't actually have it. It's the other way around. You actually want it, because with it comes your wealth. But the wealth's not just the money, either. It's the family, it's the land, it's putting everything back in order and your life back in order, because the Aboriginal elders, blackfellow elders, they told me when you're separated from your land, in the spirits of the land, the spirit of the land, then your family falls apart, nothing works, right? And it's true, because I thought when my dad left, we all fell apart. I fuck school, started drinking. I think I was 15. But it wasn't so much that dad left; it was that we lost the home, the family home, that everything turned to shit. And that's the thing, when you remove from your land and your relationships and families fall apart, and when you take that land back, they magically all come back together. I got that thing going. Like when I was young, everything was good. Haven't had that in my life, in my reality, in my world since then. And now that's back, and that's pretty special to have your life perfected. It's not just money, it's everything. It's family, it's land, it's back in the house of God. You got the protection, you get respect from people. People treat you differently. It's kind of strange, but that's earth, isn't it? We don't know where we are.
Yeah.
What's going on? Are we creating reality? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I think
it's what makes it so exciting, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the best PlayStation 35 game ever, because eternity must be boring. So here we are. This is great fun,
Oh, you're speaking to a game designer, mate. Yeah, right back at you.
Have a bit of fun with it. You got to have a bit of fun with the life. I do a lot of experiments, for fun, and why not get these results? So that's good. I've got a serious side too. I'm not naive either. It's not going to be easy. We're in a war, basically. But this is a game changer for sure. And as you said, man, I was at the end of the tether, I tell you. We could give up on God, but can't deny this is a pretty beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well that you said state revenue, because I had one of Jay's friends tell me that he advised to go through the treasury.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, so it is. Yeah, so he was right. He had everything set up. He had the discretionary trust, and then he also had his private association.
Yep, that's right. The family foundation. That's right. That's the
trust. Because he wanted to have the ABN. Now, obviously, mine might be a bit different or the same, but yeah, he had the right idea.
Well, the trustee will have the ABN, the company, not the foundation. But yeah, you can have that. Yeah, you do all that. That's state revenue.
Exactly. But he was doing it through Crown, which is where that's where I stepped away and started looking in just the way trusts work, minus all that Crown fluff. Yeah,
well, I'll tell you, the Crown groups for ages, man. I'll tell you about the Crown. Crown is God is the crown, Jesus, then man, then woman. End of story. That's right. That's the Crown group's Crown lesson for you there. But when you're claiming your title, you get the land, right? It's Crown land, so that's authority. You're recognised as a sovereign entity, and you've got Crown land. So you're getting all those things.
Yeah, and I understand now why we get them. We get them because it was written in canon law, which was the sacred law, which was basically the equivalent of updates to the Articles of Association that the ecclesiastical sort of church instigated, because they run the society of this planet.
Yeah, Jason, who gives us the Articles of Association, was in the canon law, and they're really good Articles of Association, actually. He was going to build a ministry, but I think now he's going to build a cannabis farm instead. So he was going for the ministry, see the space there. He's in a Crown group, so that's good. Yeah, we've all got it all sorted now anyway. So
Mm.
you just do it. There's going to be some people with money coming through that are going to help people that don't have the money anyway. So that's all right.
How long are the articles of association, by the way?
Oh,
Like
they're only
ones-
like it's only like 2 leaves.
Okay.
One page is just mostly a signature and witness page. So
Yeah, mine's the same. It's about a page and a half. So he probably doesn't need any protection or anything like that weaved into it because that's already the nature of it. I'm guessing it's
Yeah.
just his own
Yeah.
personal sort of spiritual take on it.
it's just that it just says that in the contract that you formed the association, and benevolent or charity and God, and you go back, it's not a lot of law in there because you pull the Bible in, that's your law anyway. So, there's not a whole lot in the Articles of Association, but they are good and they are expensive. Anywhere you go, But then I've seen lawyers write documents for 25 grand for one document. So on the UCC fee schedule, that was, I think, because I found they had a fee schedule template, a guide, and there's this pretty extensive fee schedule guide too, template, a whole lot of range of kind of guides for fees and standard salaries and that sort of stuff. Very interesting, but I don't find UCC is any use to us here in Australia, to be honest. We're better off doing this, and we don't even have to contract anymore. We don't even have to do the books anymore. We're just king. We're to run around spending money.
Yeah, because this terminates memberships everywhere on the planet because they all came from that original one. That's what I've come to find with my study in trusts. I followed the rabbit holes and I found that every country that you go to where you get dual citizen or a third passport, all they're doing is just interpreting your original name if it's in a different language, and they're just converting it so that it's recognized by their courts, right? And their registers, right? And that's all they're doing. They're electoral rolls that decide to call you in as a soldier so you die so they can claim the estate once you're dead. Or what they do if it's in another English-speaking country is all they do is they create a second register where they move the actual bond. Like, so when the bonds all go together, they'll just move them so that bond is now, like essentially traded somewhere else, but it's the same trust. It's all from the same trust.
Yeah, but you can do that. You can do that yourself in your own trust.
Yeah, exactly. So all we need is proof that trust is made and that foundation is, I think that's good enough when you go in a foreign country and you just, you get a translation of that just so if someone's a real stupid idiot who's causing some problems or some corrupt cop wants to stir trouble, you just give him the translation and that's that.
Yeah, man. They're good points too, because we're not quite there yet. So it would be interesting, if you come up with something for that, for the travel and, some sort of, because I don't really know.
I think Captain has already like basically said what it is. It's being the captain of our vessel, really. Which is our body. Okay. So we're the captain of our body, and our cargo is going to be our passport. That's going to be the cargo, and that's also going to work as a place for them to stamp whatever visa they want to stamp, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's the problem here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if they stamp a visa, isn't that their way of also saying like you're kind of wanting to become a member again, or not, because that estate's already moved? So what they do with the visa doesn't matter anymore, right?
Yeah,
that's something I
mean, you're a government. You're a government.
Yeah.
Right,
actually, shit. That holy fuck! Everything's so much simpler now, man.
Yeah, that's right, man.
It's
That's
like
good.
everything previously that was in my mind is now unlocked. That C-Pass works now. That passport works now.
Yeah.
Registering under the UPU is not required anymore.
No, I was going to do that too, but no.
No, you don't need to. What's the point? Because
Yeah,
you're no longer, you've exited the membership. So all you need literally is the C-Pass. As the Beatles say, you live in your yellow submarine, and that submarine flies around, doesn't it? It flies around in their video clip because it can go anywhere. I already found it, man. The C-Pass, the one that is being issued by Blue Thumb, Club, that one is reported as working. And I trust the guy. I spoke to him for about 2.5 hours, and he explained the process. The only port that he got detained in that he says he doesn't recommend traveling to, he said, is the port of Spain. Now, he says there's some problem with Spain, but he says that those flags that you travel under, because you need a shipping lane, that's all. You need to choose one of the flags. Now, I'm sure there's a process as our own government now where we can even create our own flag, but that's a whole nother topic. To just keep it simple, I believe wholeheartedly that would work, and that's why I have one of their C-Passes on their way right now.
Fuck, man, you're a fascinating dude, eh?
Yeah, well, I just didn't trust anyone's opinion. Even our mate Nev, who's doing all these documents, like today I went through canon law and I was like, there's just 3 things that we need. Canon law makes it clear that there's just 3 things. There's the title, there's a claim of right, and then there's I think it was like a claim of deed. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And when you look at that claim of right, that's under the Bovier's dictionary. They tell you what liberty really is, and they give you 9 steps. That's a cult, 9. That's their number. When they put 9 in something in the dictionary, then that's super sacred, right? To them, that's like everything. That's the rules of the game.
Yeah, that's the big number 9.
Yeah. Now, what's also interesting is that whole corporate identity, right? Is the entire meaning to this whole game. And now that we've gotten to it, I just want to shed something you might find interesting. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The meaning of life was 42, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you go to do a trademark, like what is a trademark? A trademark is the same as like a mark or an autograph. You know, they're all trademarks. They're marks we use for trading. When you look at trademark classes, number 42 is literally the corporate identity, the corporate fiction.
Far out.
That's what it is. It's the corporate fiction.
It's a clever, crazy universe, isn't it? That's
It
a
is.
pretty good one. I've heard some good ones. I haven't heard anyone come up with that one, and that's pretty damn good.
Man, that's a gold one. That I liked it. I like hearing that one.
But yeah, remember that, guys. Yellow Submarine. Remember that, and you know the name of them now. Blue Thumb Club. Just be sensible, obviously, and make sure that whoever does apply for one of these passes knows how to talk to them, not as a bloody sovereign or any of that other bullshit, but as what you are. As you're an international. You're part of an international crew, is what you are. You're the captain of a vessel. And all you need to show them is the vessel registration document. You don't even need a life claim or anything like that. You just need the vessel registration document. Now, Captain might have a different opinion, and I welcome it. And he obviously knows more than me. So, yeah, he's always a good man to talk to as well in these things, if you know him.
What you said, mate. Sorry to interrupt. I like what you said. I've been a little bit distracted. I've been in and out, but I've been keeping an ear to everything. Both you guys, awesome. I couldn't say at the moment contrary to anything in that regard.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
Yeah, it's pretty special, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a shame that they don't have a yellow submarine stamp like that's first class, because I realized that we could actually make our own one via. But it wouldn't technically, fill their requirements.
Well, we'll see. That's a good point. Really good point. So where,
maybe with enough money, I could do that one day. I could contact whoever, decides on what stamps make it through and say, how much money would I need to pay you to introduce a yellow submarine stamp?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I just yawned.
Well,
Yeah, it is getting late.
I
do
just want to
appreciate
say
your
on
time,
behalf
man.
of everyone, brother, I appreciate you coming on, Purple.
Yeah, thank you.
I really
Thank
do,
you.
brother. Really do. And Grey Man, great input, brother. Really good questions for Purple to really think about. You made me think about some things as well to go and investigate.
Yeah,
So,
very good.
you know, I guess I'll just ask anyone if they have any questions, maybe just maybe unmute or, you know, put in the chat or whatever. But yeah, if there's nothing else to say, whatever, yeah, we'll probably head off pretty soon. Let us know.
Yeah, I'm pretty beat. I'm gonna get some sleep, I think.
Yep.
But that's about it. That was good, really good points. We'll find out when we get there. To be honest, just been eating and sleeping. It's been such a relief to put it to bed after 5 years, really.
Yeah.
But to have people calling me, my phone's non-stop, to be honest. But when people are calling me and saying that they've done it and it was real easy, but I'm just so happy with that. Because of course you're skeptical, you know. Oh, is this just another fluff? I can't stand another rejection or another. That's not it either. I couldn't stand it, but it's not seem to be the case. You know, we had no problem. No one's having a problem. I doubt you'll have a problem. You call someone, they do settlement, you know, cash out, leave the state, whatever. Tell them whatever. No, that's a thing. That's what people are doing. That's what we did.
Yep.
Captain, I had a question for you, mate. I hope you don't mind if it's not too late. If not, we could chat another time.
Yeah, no dramas, bro. My battery's a bit low. I've got it on charge though.
Okay, well, yeah, very quickly, I just wanted to know, man, regarding the sea pass and international travel, right? Because I know this is something you've probably thought about too. I'm curious, how do we get the vessel registration number? I did not get a response back from the postmaster about that one. I'm not sure whether he's busy or whether he just thought it was a dumb question, but I'm curious, how would we obtain one of those? Is that our own registration number? Because, you know, when we register, we're kind of giving it to something, so we need to register it under our own sort of. That's how I'd imagine, right?
That's a good question. I would say in the comprehension of what Purple's talked about there tonight, you could issue your own number through what you're operating in some way or whatever, because
you're a government.
You're a government. In the way of Quantum and their CPass or Live Life Claim CPass and all of that, to be honest, while I've seen them, I've not got my own. I know how to make, you know, anyone could create one picture wise. People walk the talk and talk, you know, express themselves correctly. That's a matter of learning. But like you said, people have had success with it here and there.
I think that's it, man. I think that might be it. Eleonora, I think the title, right, is the vessel. Because if you look at the vessel registration, I'm going to share my screen right now. Oh, wait, I can't because host disabled it. All right. Well, if you go on the
do you want me to share it, bro?
amsa.gov.au.
I'll share it now, man.
You type that in Google and you type vessel registration. You look at the amsa.gov.au. That's the website.
Try sharing, brother.
Oh, I can now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Does everyone see now?
Yeah. List of registered ships.
So full title extract. Find out about getting a full title extract of the vessel.
Oh, yeah.
And then here we go. You can search. So this is what they need to see in the border. This is what the border officer needs to find. These are the rules of the game. And that's it. We honor the rules. We respect, you know, we treat them how we want to be treated, and we'll get what we want. It's that simple.
Yeah. It makes sense, you know, maybe the title.
Yeah, that's it. So look at some of these. Cat's pajamas, you know, cool body, George Bass, dreams.
Yeah, man, that's good work. Like we're gonna. Yeah, it's really hard to comprehend what's going to happen from here, but this is spreading like wildfire. This people will be leaving the states left, right, and centre, and taking their wealth. Yeah, how smart are you now, Dan Andrews? Eh?
I mean, look, if we can find names here, then that's the evidence. If we can find well, actually, technically it's not, because some people do name their ship, but like by their actual name.
Well, you better find out. You'll find out when you get the when you go through the settlement process.
I
suppose, you know.
What do you mean? What would you find out? The title name.
Yeah, what you're going to use because I've got to travel international. I've got to go to New Zealand, Canada, and California already. Like I've got to travel, so yeah, I'll be looking at what I'm not too worried about what we're going to use to travel or any of that. The settlement process is underway. That's the main thing. When it happens, because otherwise I'm just speculating. And as I said, it's just a relief to put it behind me and sort of moved on since then. A lot happened since then, and I'm just taking it easy, just enjoying it and watching it work. It's magic through groups and things, and people just doing it. But
well,
it is hard to believe it's that easy, that simple. But it isn't to a lot of people too, though, mind you. It might be to you guys.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to register a vessel.
You don't register anything. Your vessel that you register will be your PTY trustee. That'd be your vessel. That's probably my vessel.
No, but I see what you're saying.
Eleanor, because the trust sits in
the public thing is the trust. The foundation is private, and you are now private because you never use your artificial person legal name again. You have the trust do all the business.
Yeah,
well,
that's right.
You don't need to because you hold all the wealth and the shares anyway. So you just use the new name, I suppose. But I think that the shell company, the PTY, would be the vessel because the trust sits in that.
Yeah.
No, but that's the problem. It has to be something that's physical, that's tangible, that can carry something. That's all it needs to be.
Yeah, well, the water land.
Isn't it a transmitting utility more so? Classed as a transmitting utility these days? Like the whole thing is so that you can conduct trade internationally.
Yeah, that's right.
Trade then passport.
That could be.
You make a good point.
That could be your ASIC dashboard, So that's where you manage all your shares and that on ASIC. On a dashboard, that's where you move around beneficiaries and whatever.
Well, why don't we look at the registered? Hang on, I'll show you just very quickly, because I should have it somewhere.
I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to worry about it.
One sec.
I don't think you need to worry about any of that stuff.
No, because this is related to travel, mate. Trust me, I don't like complicating my life. If it was up to me, I'd live in the bloody mountains. So I'm just looking for
a vessel, though. But you've got a vessel like the trustee, the corporate PTY would be the vessel for the. That's what operates on the waters, not the foundations on the land. The company, the PTY corporate companies operating on the waters and under those laws, merchant law. So I'd say that would
I'm just thinking, how can we bypass all this bullshit, COVID, quarantine, horseshit? And they make it clear on their website that an international crew member gets exemption for all that. And it's for every country. And that's the one consistent thing. Anyone who is a crew member of a vessel gets exempt from all that.
You're just making stuff up, man. You just do the settlement process. That's what it's for. But I don't know what any of this stuff is, and it's not of any use. So it's got nothing to do with settlement. You know, which is what you want to do. I just told you how to leave the state through the settlement. You take your shares out of it. You take your person out of the state. I mean,
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just so much. It's as simple as rocking up to the airport and just saying, "Look."
No, that's nonsense, man. You're leading yourself astray and other people astray, and you're making it complicated. You're not going to an airport or a ship or any of that crap. You're just doing a settlement. You're doing your last will and testimony.
No. I'm talking about traveling, man. I don't get the wrong.
Good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's what I was talking
no,
about.
what was that? Oh, okay, sorry. That's just me being
We must have
tired.
misunderstood. Yeah.
Yeah, I did, bro. Sorry, it's just me being tired. Thinking, what the hell has that got to do with what we were just
Because
talking
travel's the one thing that I have left to like commerce all is crystal clear now with you, mate, with your contributions tonight. Now I'm already moving forward. I already want to get you know, I'm eager to get out of this country, man.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good on you, man.
I go to Europe. I have art to create, man. I've entertainment to make.
But don't worry too much about it because you've got to go through the settlement. It's going to take 30 to 90 days, and you're really not going to know until then what you're going to get and how you're going to travel and that. But I tell you, it's going to be a lot better than anything you got now. But you don't think you have to don't worry too much about any of that stuff until later, because we're finding that people are learning processes. They're very hard and they may be right, but you don't do them.
Well, do I have to be present in the country during that 30 to 60 day wait, or can I just get this pending and then go travel or go visit family somewhere overseas?
I suppose you can do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really why I'm looking at travel. I already had a trip planned very soon in a couple of weeks. I'd like to go. So
yeah, well, I just do whatever I want, like even without even doing any of this, I had them stumped because they couldn't prove that I'm Mister, because that's a title and I don't hold no Mister. So I was already winner because they were trying to say, like I said, Eleanor is not a legal entity. I said, no, it's lawful. So they went to Mr. Forrest and I said, oh, bad luck. No Mr. here, no legal entity here. So they had nothing. The cops in the court, the magistrates, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't force me to keep saying to consenting on Mr. Forrest. They knew that wasn't going to work because I've been saying, well, you better produce the documents. And once you do that, they know that their bluff's over because you're going to have to produce the evidence, man. It's not just hearsay. People are just consenting to hearsay, whatnot. Crap,
sure.
Where's the paperwork then? That's where they come unstuck. Where's the title documents then? I don't hold them. And that's when things go haywire for them. Because if they give you the title documents, that's the money. So good. No, game over. Checkmate, I'm afraid. Even without doing the settlement now, with this knowledge, you've got them in checkmate. I've got a guy, he's freaking out. He's got to go to court. I said, dude, Mr. Who? What documents? I don't even go. I put the paperwork in the bin so it's not in my mind because I don't want to think about it. It's all just fake. It's fake because there's no documents and they know it. They don't do nothing if you don't turn up to court. Not to me. How can they? But they know that I know. If they know that you don't know, they'll keep coming and coming and coming. No. So we'll put a stop to that now. This is checkmate. Game over, buddy. You've had your fun. Now it's our turn. Simple as that. Do settlement, cash out, cut the middleman out. See you later. Beautiful. Now you worry about travel later, man. I reckon they're gonna present us with something. Pretty big deal.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
In the meantime, is there anything specific we'd be able to kind of go and research or check out, or do you think that it's not really relevant to study any of this?
Well, you don't need to, but you can, for reassurance for yourself.
Yep.
Go on.
Just
Go
to
on to the
understand the words, you think?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Yep.
Until you've talked to the estate lawyer,
Yep.
you're going to have doubts. So,
Yep.
I mean, you can go onto the state revenue website and have a look, at duties online where you lodge deeds.
Yep.
You may have a little bit of information there, but I mean, aside from that, there's really not a whole lot of information. Like, you could research your family trust and private foundations and
Yep.
how all that works. I haven't really Googled anything on
Yep.
the settlement process, or if there's anything even on the internet actually, if there's about the settlement process or
Yeah, not much of
lodging
that,
trust
man.
deed. No, I wouldn't imagine, but
So more of
there's
an
really not much.
more of an intuitive thing, mate. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's really nothing to learn.
Yeah. Okay.
It really isn't. It's just everybody's supposed to do their will, so you're just doing your will, but you're doing your estate planning, your will, but through a family trust and trust deed. So the trust deed is your will, and you're doing a settlement. I mean, anything other than that, there's no need to complicate it any more than that.
How do you explain this to family members?
Well, I can't, because they're all left.
Okay.
You lose friends and family, so
Of course.
that we've set them up. So once the settlement comes through, they're just going to be getting money into their bank from the Forester Foundation. So then they're going to, wonder what's going on. Until then, you can't talk to them. They come and ask you, then you've got a chance of talking to them. But then that's going to put you back in the position. The head of the family is going to get respect again. The family's going to come back together because you've got land and the spirit, and it's just the way that it works. It's nature in a way. There's no explanation for why when you're separated from the land, family falls apart, but it guarantee that's what it is.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to try and restore that, because it's God, right? Because you don't have God in your family. That's why.
Yeah.
But no, there's really nothing that complicated, and it's a little bit hard because people have been studying in all these groups and they expect that that's what you need to do and this is too easy and all that. But honestly, man, I'm supposed to do points for a PowerPoint presentation and Julie's going, try not to make it too long. And I said, make it too long. I'm working hard to try and stretch it out more than 2 minutes because there's nothing to explain.
Yeah.
What do you explain? There's nothing to explain to people. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody's going to be able to do your last will and testimony for you. So you're going to have to take that step and leap of faith, I guess, and just talk to them, and then you'll find that, you just did it.
Yep. All
Like
right.
the rest of us, I can't believe I just did that, and then sit around for a week going, I can't believe it was that easy, and I just did that. I hope the money hurries up, turns up. Where's my money? I'm already shopping for 2011 GDSs, with under 100,000 K, 6 speed. So I'm already shopping for $70,000 cars and that.
Yep.
I'm not going to make myself crazy. I'm not going to make myself crazy about waiting for it and how much it is or how I'm going to travel or anything like, because I really don't know what's coming.
Yep.
I know it's wealth and shares, but I don't know if they're going to be presenting us with something, or who knows, man. I'm just glad.
Hey, by the way, I never got a chance to ask you, what's your name, man, Eleonora?
David Forrester, it is. Or Forrester David, actually.
Because
that's
cool.
That's everybody's been calling themselves Crown David and this and that. That's the surname, it was always the surname, Crown Forrester.
How long
David.
have you been driving without license or registration, Dave?
About 5 years.
5 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, that don't bother me now.
So there's no reg plates or no Z plate either, right?
No.
You've removed the Z plate?
No, I haven't removed that.
So you've still got those plates, okay?
Yeah, it's still got the factory tags and that sort of stuff. No, it's just like the police said that I was right. That there is no law that says I have to have a reg on license, but they just don't want every 8-year-old jump behind the wheel of a car. And I said, well, that's fair enough. No, you still broke the law, just because you
What
don't
state,
like
what
that.
state you in, Dave? I mean, sorry, Eleanor.
Victoria.
Oh, you here too. Beautiful.
Yeah, Shepparton. Shepparton, I know.
I might need to speak to you, man, because I've had my car impounded about a month ago.
Yeah, they're bastards. They don't give them
Tell me
back
about it.
either.
Pardon?
They don't give them back either, the bastards.
Yeah, I know, man. So what do you think I should do, man?
Oh, I had a guy today, the same with his bike, was impounded, and he done this settlement process within about 2 hours. He called me back and said, yeah, it's all done and that. And so that's really your only hope, is to
Settle it.
leave the state. Well, because the police are being smart cunts, targeting him and taunting
Yeah.
him and teasing him, stealing his property and being smart little bastards like they are here. You're not playing fair, That's not on being like that. So it's going to be really hard. They're not going to give it back to him. So I said, just get out of the state, man. Leave the state. You'll get your bike back tenfold. But try and prove of ownership and get him to waive the fees. That's the only way that we could do it. We put the cars on PPSR and they didn't give a fuck about nothing. They don't give a shit about.
Yeah, because I did that last week. I registered it with the PPSR and I was going to serve them with a letter of demand, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we'll do it. Like, won't hurt. It's on PPSR and things like that, but they expect you to proof of ownership and then, waive the fees through the court. But the court doesn't really usually waive the fees, so fees usually just go up and up and up. And I said, oh, look, man, just pay it if you have to get it back, if you want it back that much, because it's going to go up and up and up.